Young fan, play the beat.
I'ma go colonize Mars. Spit these fire bars, change the way you're driving cars. If you hate me, you're racist. I'm African American. They're hiring people based on race and heritage. They're grooming kids, teaching them about trans, gay sex. I'm grooming my children to take over SpaceX. I have X running better after slashing paycheck. I'm a billionaire, but at a time I couldn't pay rent. I do it for the memes. Politicians have schemes. There's not a left or right, they're all on the same team. They say that I'm a Zionist and anti-Semitic. Which one is it? Make up your mind, they're all pathetic. I'm hated by the right, I'm hated by the left. Guess that means I'm doing something right, how quickly they forget. Call me radical Republican, but my life is EV. Bob Iger is the clown, so is Stephen King. Mark Cuban is a dork, Zuckerberg too. The government is spending all our money, we should sue. I paid $44 billion to acquire X. Hunter Biden paid $44 billion for sex.
I just planted 1 billion trees. I just cured a whole damn disease. I just sold 1 billion chocolate bars overseas. I just gave 10,000 people sight who couldn't even see. I bought a private island just so I could take a pee. I bought a hotel just so I could go to sleep. I just bought a private jet, got the pilot out of debt. If you're hating on me, well, that's just a normal side effect. I just tipped my waitress and I gave her ass a car.
Well, I just ended the Russia and Ukraine war.
Oh, hey Trump, it's really nice meeting you. Do you want to invest in festivals?
Thank you, Jimmy, for that offer. It's really nice. Maybe we can save America from dying twice. I mean, when you fill your gas up, look at the price. The government is spending too much and it isn't right. We need a Department of Government Efficiency. They tried to sue me, shoot me, even imprison me. Thank God they can't aim and keep on missing me. P. Diddy supported Kamala, even Hillary. Myself, Elon, Mr. Beast are gonna save the planet. But we'll drill, baby, drill. The left wants to ban it. I believe in climate change. I think it's really real. I just don't believe the fear that they're trying to sell. November 2024, you know who to vote for. Used to be loved by celebs, Oprah, Whoopi Goldberg. Then I ran, everyone turned their back. But like that traitor Arnold, I'll be back.
Be different. I'm getting older now. All I got.
All right. Sorry. Got to get rid of the ends on these videos. They're not mine. All right. Oh, I apologize for being gone. I'm still kind of sick, but I'm going to do my best to get through this today and to be around as long as I can. I know today was a little stressful. I think today's probably going to be better. I'm going to talk about why. Also, officially a member 7 months. That's awesome, Kamala. I'm really glad to hear it. So let's just start from the beginning here. Let's not focus too much on Papa Powell in the beginning. Here's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on a fear and greed index that's at 29 right now. I want to focus on a post from yesterday where I said, hey, if you go back a year and a half, good morning, everybody, by the way. And I got the mute right. That's not bad either. If you go back a year and a half and you look at the CNN fear and greed index, luckily I've been subscribing to more memberships. This is macro, micro. That's the reason why I couldn't do macro to micro. Somebody asked me about my name. They said, well, why are you micro to macro if you focus on macro first? And it's because of these guys. They already had it. So, and I couldn't get it. But I want to point out here, so if you go back a year and a half all the way to July 2022, I'm sorry, two and a half years, you'll see that when we get down, into the extreme greed, or I'm sorry, extreme fear zones, it's been a buy the dip, right? Like you can look at the S&P in orange here, orangish pink, whatever color this is. I don't even know. Red, is that red? And buy. And now we just got down to like 29, so we're even lower than what this is showing right here. So we're 4 points away from extreme fear, and everything in history for the last 2.5 years tells me that that's probably a good thing and that we're going up. Okay. Let me get caught up with chat real quick here. I gotta split it around. Yo, welcome back. Thank you very much. Takumi 69, Matanga. Morning, guys. Glad you're okay, Jesse. Yep, getting better, I think. Unfortunately, my poor daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, is puking this morning. So I think I gave her some of what I had. Lisa, hey, Jesse, hope you're better. I'm feeling better, a little bit better. Alex Garcia, love how yesterday we got an opportunity to buy at cheaper prices. Yep. And if you deleverage like I did, you've got a safer path forward and you still have lots of upside. We'll talk about that too. Again, I made almost $3 million off of Tesla. I wanted to lock in those gains. I didn't want as much leverage to the upside because we've run hard. I did that same thing. I got out of MSTU, MSTX. I don't know. It's just too much risk, and it was going. I think I just FOMO'd. Again, you do really well. I've done great, right? Like we'll look at my portfolio in a second. 600% last year, over 100% in gains this year. This was the shitty year. So it's one of those things where you have to realize when to dial it back. And I think a prudent approach, but a positive, optimistic one is the path forward. We're going to talk about a lot of that today. Alex Garcia, love how, oh no, that was you. Toby, Morty, Jesse, hope you feel better. JT, colors lukewarm tomato sauce. Is that me? Are we talking about? Cape, Tesla was brutal yesterday. Brad Murphy, plus seasonality, 90% probability of a Santa pump. Yeah, so we have a high probability of a Santa Claus rally. We also had an awesome flush out yesterday, which I believe was just irrational behavior completely. Why do we give a shit about the Fed's dot plot? Can somebody raise your hand and tell me in chat if you like how accurate? Does anybody know how accurate the Fed is at plotting anything? I can tell you, it's really bad. Hey, Barish, please don't talk about Chinese-related stocks as investment opportunities in my chat. It's a great way to get banned. Until the regime changes or until Xi becomes a completely different person, we don't push China in this chat. So I just want to be clear. I don't want to block anybody, but I will. JT, Cape, Tesla hadn't been that low since 2 days ago. It's frightening, I know. Jeb, it'd be cool. I'm glad I sold some very profitable SoFi and Hood calls. Was still a rough day, but whatever. Yeah, I did a lot of buying yesterday. We'll talk about that too. Alex Garcia, yesterday was a good, healthy reset. Yeah, we need it. We actually need it. We need it. We want that. We want that. You want retracements now and again. And today actually looks pretty decent. We'll see if it maintains. But like if we're looking at Bitcoin right now, guys, I've got it down in the bottom right corner just so you know. But if we look at Bitcoin over here, and I got to say, CleanSpark actually looking really strong today, up 4.51%. I think they did a great job. With Zach and their CFO. Is Zach the CFO? I don't know. The other guy. I think they did a great job talking about their convertible bond and kind of their thesis of how they're going to proceed forward as a company. And I think it's going to be reassuring a lot of investors, especially institutional. And so I think it's going to be harder to short them going forward. A lot of charts are looking good and bouncy, guys. Even right here, if we just go to the daily, weekly doesn't tell you much. But if we just look at the daily over here on Bitcoin, there's a couple things to note. Okay, let me see if I could shrink some of this. So we still, on the daily, we could go further on the RSI, right? Like we could totally drop further. That could be a thing. But when we're looking over here, we have a very large volume shelf underneath of us. A couple of series of them that I think are providing really good support. These are the strongest volume peaks, guys, that we've seen really going all the way back here to 67,000. So there's a lot of buying pressure, I think, in this range. Don't get me wrong. Could we go lower? Yes. That's why I deleveraged $3.2 million between Tesla Leaps and then also MSTU and MSTX. I just got out of the crap. That way, if we go lower, worst case, you can always dial in to leverage. But I don't want to be in it in case, macro factors pull it down. And we'll talk a little bit about what some of those might be. Who's buying Anduril IPO? I don't know if I will be or not. I got to figure out the math behind it. If anybody's got a source for that, let me know. Matthew Purdy, thoughts on incoming PCE and jobless data could be the catalyst. We'll take a look at that today too. So again, economic data. We got a lot to talk about today, guys. Also, all these freak out moments about inflation. Let's just look at where the UK is right now. They're at 2.6% right up here. Look at where they were. So this whole acceleration and then PPI data this was yesterday, out of outputs and inputs out of Great Britain were negative 1.9%, forecast at negative 0.25. But these producer price expenditures, like, look at this. This is not rebounding inflation. It's just not. I think people are getting ahead of their skis. Yeah, MU, I heard they had a bad earnings. I don't know all the details. I didn't look into it. I care more about macro right now, guys. I've only got like 30K or something in Micron. But yeah, we got a lot to look at. So here's the thing. I don't see the inflation threat. I still don't see it. And we're going to talk why in a little bit here. So far today, let's just look at what we have today. We got consumer confidence in Germany is trash, but slightly better than expected. The Bank of England's interest rate stayed the same, 4.75%. They didn't do anything with it. And let's see what's coming up next. We got Canada doing average weekly earnings. We got GDP growth rate, GDP price index, initial jobless claims, Philly Fed manufacturing, continuing jobless claims, core PCE prices, corporate profits, GDP sales quarter over quarter, jobless claims 4-week average, PCE prices, Philly Fed, everything, real consumer spending, existing home sales, CB leading index, Kansas Fed composite and manufacturing. We got a lot today, guys. We got net long-term TIC flows, foreign bond investment, overall net capital flows. A lot. We got a lot. All right, is this... let me just refresh real quick. Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff to cover. And let me see here real quickly, too, because I think Japan, real quickly, let me just see. One of the things I am curious about, let me look here. So this is... there's Friday, okay. And then inflation rate. Oh, yeah, I wanted to say, so you know how I was worried about the Bank of Japan? Yeah, raising rates. Thank you, Melinda. That's perfect timing. They didn't happen. They stayed steady. So, again, it's just another factor that reduces my concerns a little bit. We got a lot of economic data today, though, guys. We'll be covering all of it. First set comes out at 7:30. That is roughly 35 minutes from now. I got to move some things around. I got like a monitor that's about to fall over here. Sorry. I got to hook up my new monitors. I got my new mounts and everything, but I've just been so sick I haven't been able to do it. So anyway, so let's get over here. I digress too much. I want to go back a little bit. So portfolio. This is the new one. It doesn't look crazy different from the old one. There are some changes to it. Tesla, again, out of leaps. Well, I can't say out of leaps. I did actually buy a few yesterday. We'll look at some of that. But I bought them because they were down 20%. I just couldn't. I had to do it. And then, again, everything in MicroStrategy instead of MSTU and MSTX. It's in that. I think I've got a little bit of dust in MSTU or one of those. PayPal, shitcoins. See, the big things to note here, the other things to note, I did buy more CleanSpark yesterday. I did buy more MicroStrategy. I did buy more Tesla. We'll look at some of those trades in a bit. And I bought ARKG. I bought ARGT. And I've acquired chips here too recently, guys. If you take a look, it's not a huge amount, but you'll see AMD is a 3% representation. SMCI is 2. I've got NVIDIA at 1. I've got Micron at 1. So I did start adding chips, roughly $500,000, probably closer to 400,000 right now, just with things dropping as of recent. So I do have that. And again, right now I'm probably this morning, I'm probably back at 6 million. Yeah, I don't know. SMCI, I'm still, again, guys, these are starter. I want to be clear about something. When I'm in the 1% range, this is 1-2%. This is me playing games and figuring shit out. Like DLO, I was in 1% of DLO. That thing's probably turning into dust. That got up to like 2, maybe 3%. No, it's probably a little under 3%. But if you guys didn't see the post yesterday, DLO has news of selling out. So if you were in any of the like 37 strike calls, I gave advance warning yesterday to everybody that they're looking at selling the company. Those strikes will probably not be met if that happens. I posted the article about it, and I told everybody I'm not selling yesterday to allow people time to get out. and I haven't sold anything. I'm down 55%, which is funny because it was up at the beginning of the day yesterday, but I'm down 55% on the position. I've got 50,000 in it right now when it was up to 150 just a couple of days ago. So about a 70% drop. I might just keep it because 50 grand is not a lot in my portfolio. So I might just hold on to it and see what happens. This thing has, I mean, how much time? A year to play out roughly, right? I don't think it will. I'm really pessimistic. The fact that they're trying to sell to another company when the financials look pretty good, it just worries me. You don't, if you're really successful, you're not trying to sell. So it'll probably turn to dust. Maybe I'll still sell it. I'll let you guys know. But yeah, so roughly $6 million right now, about $500,000 lower than I was on Saturday, the last time I updated this, which is a little bit of a bummer because I got close to 7 million. But again, yesterday was tough. Just happy I didn't have a lot of leverage. I think I covered everything that's in here. Yeah, I think so. So again, I keep all this stuff, guys, at the top in my pin portfolio. I'm going to back up one thing though. I just want to, no, I guess I probably don't need to show the trades. I don't need to show the trades. Let's move on. Hope you feel better. I think I'm starting to, Remo. Tyler, how does Powell's comments about Fed not being allowed to hold BTC affect anything? It doesn't, but it's interesting. It was an interesting comment. And guys, just so you know, yesterday with Papa Powell, if you want to know how bad the Fed meeting's going to be, watch Papa Powell's mannerisms. If he is stern, you know, and his face he's not laughing, he's not talking to people, he's not smiling, he's going to fuck you. That's the key, okay? He's going to screw you. And I think what he did yesterday, I think was deliberate. I think he wanted to, he gave the doves their say last meeting. And then this one, he still gave the doves what they wanted, right? They got a rate cut, but forward guidance, again, they changed the dot plot, and they said, hey, we might be higher. We already know, guys, the neutral rate is probably going to be higher, right? I also have no doubt that the Fed is going to turn on the money printer, or at least drop rates significantly if they feel the need. I have no doubt about that. They've actually been really aggressive so far. What have we moved? 1 point already? 50 bips, 25, is that what it was? I don't remember off the top of my head. I've had a lot of NyQuil and DayQuil lately. But again, they're doing what they need to do. And there are ramifications on long-term bonds. The yields are going higher, which is not helping the real estate market. I'm thinking through that. We've got to talk through that more in the future. But I just want to reiterate, I want to go back and just say, okay, so the Fed sucks at the dot plot. Papa Powell appeasing the hawks last time he appeased the doves. I think next time he's going to probably play down the middle or be more dovish without raising rates, because I think next time he's not going to raise rates. If we look over here, let's just go to the CME Fed Watch tool real quick and see what January looks like. January, keeping it where it's at, 91.4%. Now, we've got a decent amount of time before that happens, guys. We got a month and a half. So we got 6 weeks for that to potentially change, but I don't think it will. I think we'll actually just stay here. But in March, I could see us trying to go lower again. I think that's going to be the play. I mean, even right here, you can see a 44%, roughly almost a 50% chance, 47% chance of lowering by 25 bips or 50. Mara bought another 15,000. They bought more Bitcoin. You're going to see a lot of that, I'm sure. Here, let me go real quickly and check that out. If you guys could too, if you guys see my video in here, if you could go ahead and like it and comment on it and share it on X, that would be great. Just trying to get as much viewership as possible on here. Let me find that Mara post though real quickly and just get it out there. Not surprised. I mean, I wonder, will Michael Saylor say something? I'm not doing leaps, guys. Tyler Casamenti. I've answered this probably just a ton of times already in the last week. I am trying to pull out of leaps. I'm not trying to buy more. So I'm trying to reduce risk to the downside. I've made a shit ton of money. This is the time to be conservative. And when I say that, I still have goals of 15 to 30 million for my balance the end of this year. A lot of that coming from Bitcoin related investments, which are already highly levered. Okay. So but I'm not doing any new leaps on anything else. I don't think this is the environment to do that. Things could turn out really well, but I don't want to fuck with it. Okay? I don't want to fuck with it. I don't want to mess things up. Right now, 7:05, still got 20 minutes or 25 minutes until we get more data. Let's real quickly. Thank you for the news about Mara. I really appreciate that. I got that posted out there now. But yeah, so you guys know what the portfolio is. Also, too, I just wanted to say, if we get a big drop today, which I don't think we're going to get, I think today's the bounce day. But if we get a further drop, I would gladly liquidate some of my less conviction plays like SMCI, even maybe potentially DLO. I bought some SoFi. Oh, I forgot to say that. I bought some SoFi. I've got a small position, 1% in that too. I'd spend the rest of my cash. I'd even sell NVIDIA if I needed to buy more Bitcoin-related investments like MSTR and to buy more Tesla. And to be clear, guys, MSTR right now is in the 1.89 range for its multiplier. So it's really freaking cheap. If you go out and look at this thing, for where I believe the high is going to be this cycle, I think we can get to 280, especially if we end up doing a strategic reserve for the United States, not to mention a bunch of states and other countries around the world following suit. But if you look over here, this is going to go a lot higher. And again, even the second order regression has us up to the 3.5s, 4x multiplier range, heading up into here. So that those numbers alone would give a huge stock price of $1,500, $1,700, $1,800. So yeah, if we got to the 280 range, potentially a $2,000 price on MSTR, that's a good number for me. Okay, so I think there's a lot of opportunity here for that. But I digress. I want to go back. I want to talk about. I want you guys to understand something. Okay. Our monkey brains are programmed to be afraid all the time, okay? If you don't know this about yourself already and you don't know this about humanity, learn it. Because we're still in the hunter-gatherer stage in our brains, okay? And if you don't believe me, watch some YouTube videos. You'll figure it out. But we're still there's a reason why scary things, hateful things, people dying get a lot of clicks. Like just really horrific things. Why do people look at those? They look at them because we're programmed to be like, oh, is that thing going to kill me? Do I need to kill it? And so when we're looking at markets, this is very important because we've got the same mentality. But here's the difference in markets. The difference in markets is this. I'll show you real quick here. The difference in markets is this, right? So we're in hunter-gatherer stage. We're afraid everything is going to kill us. But what the market wants to do is give us a lot of money over a long period of time. So if you just look here going back to 2008, this is what the market's done, right? You could have thought the world was ending here. You could have thought the world was ending here. You could have thought the world was ending here. You could have thought the world was ending here. You could have thought the world was ending here. You know what happened? It went up. And so if you let your monkey brain take control of your investing behavior and you let fear control you, you will not do well financially. And if you have really short time frames, like again, sometimes you can take risks on leaps, things like I've done recently, right? Over the last couple of years, because you had a really great opportunity. You were down here and you knew people were being stupid, right? So you could take advantage of that. And over here, you knew you were back testing and you knew that we were forming a cup and handle. You knew people were being stupid. You knew you could go higher. And so you capitalized off of that. What I would encourage you to do is to remember that the market wants to go higher. And look at this. We actually like, let me just do this. We actually perfectly. So if the market was going to turn around, I want to say this, even after this little speech I just did, this would be the great place to do it. I mean, this is the perfect place to take a break. Right here. This is literally the perfect place to do it because we did complete our measured move. If you look at this. This cup and handle, the S&P did it, right? Strong retracement, trying to find support. I actually think we're finding it though, but I think this is what happens. You hit the .618, and what happens? It's the golden retracement zone. So you test back down, you go up, you break out, you complete your measured move. Is it crazy to test back down even to 5,700 on the S&P? No, it's not. It's not crazy to do that after completing your measured move while you figure out what you're doing next. And so, but I want to encourage people, this is the way you should look at markets. You should look at them optimistically. And we're going to look at fundamentals on why you should be optimistic, at least why I believe you should. Real quickly, let me just read some comments. So, William, thank you for talking about Maron, letting me know. If you guys have news-related events, definitely throw them out in chat. Bruce said Zach is the CEO. The CFO is great. Oh, yeah. So what is Matt? Is he the president? I don't remember. Thanks, though, Bruce. Ali Shahabi, all we need a bad jobless report and we soar. Yeah, it depends. It depends. Bad news might be just bad news right now. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we don't have to do too much speculation because in 19 minutes we'll have that data. Again, if you guys could share out, that'd be wonderful. It's been a while since I've been on here. So if we can get more people in here, the better. All right. So Perry Shelton, Powell's speech was political. The Fed is always data dependent, so reactionary. No reason for him to speak about effects of new administration policy tariff. Funny how, yeah. But I mean, it's also true. Tariffs will have impact and they don't know what they're going to be. I mean, history tells me that they're not actually going to be bad for the U.S. and they're not going to create inflation in the U.S. But that's the prevailing narrative right now. And he helped that narrative yesterday. I 100% agree with that. He made that narrative sound stronger. It's just not real, though. Again, Europe and China are exporting deflation. That's reality. If you look, we're going to look at a bunch of things today that will show you how bad Europe is doing, like the German auto sector. There's a ton happening. Tyler, AMD leaps. And so, yeah, I answered that. No, not me at least. The lion's share. Good morning, Jesse. Good morning. Jesse, next time you're sick, I'm pulling out of all risk. No questions asked. Gerald, stacked up on DLO. Stacked up? Watch out, Gerald. If you didn't see my post from yesterday, man, look it up. DLO is looking at selling their company. I don't love that. I don't know why a company that's strong would want to do that. So I'd be selling out. I mean, I haven't sold out yet, but I've lost like 60, 70% of value in like 48 hours. Ali Shahabi, do you think CleanSpark options are a good buy now? I bought more. I don't know if people should be dialing into risk. I just did it because they were so depressed yesterday. I'll be dialing out of those earlier. My target was previously 40. It's probably 30 for being all out now. And I'm going to be more aggressive at getting out of them and just reverting to the stock because the stock is going to be safer than a time-based option in July. And again, I think it'll still do it. I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin, and I think it'll still do it. But it's just the return isn't good enough. It's another violation of my rules, right? You guys, anybody who's been following me for a while, like Adam, Palantir 3030 on here, knows that when I was talking about leaps, I was looking for at least 3x returns, the underlying asset, and ideally up to 10x returns, right? But with that one, I'm only getting 2, and it's not a long time frame. It's just a violation of my rules, so I'm going to try and get out of that sooner than later. But yeah, I did buy yesterday. Fried food rocks. Good morning, Jesse. Get sunlight where possible. It's like freaking snowy and cold here. It really helps, especially when sick. I know it sounds kooky. I've got a lot of lights on me, not sunlight though. Fopper. Why Bitcoin-related investments? Do you see Q1, Q2, and Q3 of 2025 ramping up with Bitcoin? Oh yeah, dude. This is the cycle for Bitcoin. It's exactly what you just said. And again, I think we'll talk about a bunch of macro things and reasons why Bitcoin will go higher. But if you just look at the adoption and the strategic reserve and everything else, it gives you a good indication. Paul Hoger, you have any more Tesla calls left or just stock? Oh yeah, so I can show you that real quick. So I did buy more Tesla calls yesterday. I got them at a steal. But I did buy more yesterday. It probably looks really bad today. But yeah, let me just pop this over. And again, all this stuff looks really red, guys, because I sold out of a bunch of things and then I bought new things. So my cost basis is all wonky on here. But if you look over here, I did buy a bunch more calls, even though I'd sold out of all but one. I bought 8 more yesterday because they were down like 20%. I think they're probably going to be up a lot today, is my guess. So I did dial back into that. And I actually have, so guys, when I had calls a couple of days ago, I was at 1.7 million. Now I'm over 2 million. So I've actually added to my Tesla position. I've just removed leverage. So yeah, so I got all that. Real quickly, we got Jeremy Siegel talking about the 25 BIP. I am curious what he has to say. We're going to jump to Jeremy Siegel super fast, guys, and then we'll get back to why you should be optimistic, because I seriously think you should be. The CleanSpark, yeah, Remo, the CleanSpark interview with the convertible debt offerings with Zach Bradford and the CFO, they were amazing. They're amazing. And Adam says, "Good morning, everyone. Feeling better, Jesse. Huge shout out to Jesse. I've read his followers' messages. Has making so many people millionaires. People hate, but he shows love 24/7. Have a great day." I try to, man. And there's always going to be haters. It's just inevitable. I try and purge the negative people from my life. Real quickly though, I'm not getting this to come up here, so I'm just gonna pull it up from down here. Just 1 second. All right, let's listen. I want to listen to Jeremy Siegel. We're gonna go back a little bit. I really like him. I think he's a brilliant guy. 1 second. Yeah, Zach is great. Did anybody watch the interview with Matthew Schultz and others on Rex's channel? I didn't see it.
The first under new CEO Elliott Hill. So keep an eye on Nike shares.
We've had on the last week or two suggested that we may still get a cut, but we're going to get a hawkish language after that. And the market seems to think that this was some kind of great surprise.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it was exactly as I expect. I actually think it's a healthy development. You know,
I do too.
Back in September, when they lowered 50 basis points, I said two things. I said, first of all, the neutral rate is much higher than what the Fed has indicated. I think it's between 3 and...
Real quickly, sorry, I'll get back to Jeremy Siegel. Ite A says, Jesse, does the FASB rules apply to MicroStrategy next quarter earnings? No, I don't believe so, because it kicks in like 12:15 for the rules, but I think that's going forward. So I think it'll be the end of Q1 when they report in Q2 that it will help MicroStrategy. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, let me know, guys. If it's going to be Q1. I think it's Q1 reported in Q2. That's what it'll look like. Out of my mind, why CleanSpark did not bring up the same topics during the investors call. Yeah, they did a great job. Again, I think they just realized they fucked up, and then they got on the right page, and I think that's a good way to do it. CFO's name is Gary. Seems sharp. He is really sharp. I just never remember his name. He's not as public as the rest. MB says, "Yep, the Rex interview was awesome." Okay, so I think CleanSpark. You got to remember they had the highest short interest. I think they're going to start coming up, guys. I'm excited about it. Kiet Nguyen says, I still have a little position on MSTX. I know it's not financial advice. Would you still? I'm not holding, so that kind of tells you what I would do, Kiet. And here's the thing. If we bounce today and MicroStrategy does really good, I think that's a possibility. If you're going to dial out of these 2X plays, I think that's the time to do it. I shouldn't have gotten involved in them. The tracking is too off. And again, but if we go straight up with MicroStrategy and Bitcoin and everything, then they're going to be great. If we don't, you're gonna bleed a lot. And so that's my concern there. And I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars holding those. I don't know if it was $250,000 or 300. It was a decent amount of money that was lost, that was just wasted. And I wish I wouldn't have went down that route. I just got excited. I learned about MicroStrategy, and I finally understood why people were so excited about it. I finally understood the infinite money glitch. And again, that same thing can apply to the U.S. government. I talked about that yesterday. I might even pull that up in a little bit, where we can just make a lot of money off of, or we can help our country and help our debt loads and help ourselves become more sustainable by, if we're going to be doing some money printing the money to buy Bitcoin for the reserve. I think could be really good. It would also help support our Bitcoin miner business, which would benefit the entire country in regard to the Bitcoin side of things. But if we embrace Bitcoin and then we print dollars away, we actually strengthen our bonds and make it to where we look more fiscally responsible as we move away from the US dollar as the reserve currency for the world, and instead have, something more like a gold standard, with Bitcoin at the helm. And I do want to talk about that. I'll probably pull that up in a little bit, but let's listen to Jeremy Siegel real quick, talk about the 25 bips. Remind me later, guys, to talk about that. I got a really good post on it and I want to share it.
3.5% and 4%. I also said long-term rates
About 10 minutes, too, before economic data.
were going up. I've said that on your program several times, and I think they're going to go up more. And that's not necessarily an unhealthy development. Do you know that for the first time in almost 3 years, the 10-year is above the Fed funds rate? And that's a normal situation. I mean, we brought the Fed funds rate, Powell brought it down yesterday, 4.33%. And as you know, we're 4.5% now on the 10-year. It's normal for long-term interest rates to be above short-term interest rates. We were 3 years.
Yeah, on that note, guys, the inversion is no longer inverted. So the end of last week, we officially popped up. And this is if you're looking at the 10-year, 3-month. So this is about as accurate of a representation as you can get. So for the first time, we've uninverted. This is normally a sign to people that a recession has come, right? Like if we look at the way it's normally gauged. But remember, the person who created this whole like inversion curve rule for recessions isn't even sure about it themselves and whether or not it's triggering correctly because of how wonky everything was after COVID and all the stuff happening now. So again, and even over here, guys, in July 2019, like this is a weird one. This is a weird one. So, and I don't even know what it looks like on the 10-2 year. I'd have to see if that one uninverted. But what Jeremy Siegel is saying is that, whoa, that got weird. Is that this is actually a really positive thing to have the long end of the curve rates be higher and have the lower end coming down. And I 100% agree with him.
In an inverted term structure, that's not a healthy situation. Yep. So we are actually normalizing the interest rate structure. You could call it recalibrating if you wish. Right. But long rates, I think, have a way to go further up.
Well, if that's your sort of base case, how do you think about equities from here?
Well, it's more challenging in 2025 than 2024. But don't forget, one of the reasons why interest rates are going up and why the neutral rate is higher is stronger economic growth. I mean, Powell mentioned that many times in the news conference that GDP growth has surprised on the upside. I mean, that's good for equities. It's bad for bonds, but it is good for equities. Now certainly, inflation has been more stubborn than expected. I still think there's, as he mentioned, some rental lags that I think are going to help us in 2025 get it closer to that 2%. But, higher interest rates don't necessarily mean.
Yeah, guys, remember too on inflation that a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is like rents and housing and insurance and and things that are rolling over. The auto sector definitely rolling over. If you're not Tesla, you're rolling over both in Europe and the United States. We're going to go over all that. There's a lot of things that are going to be bringing the inflation data down. And FS Insight, I didn't see Tom Lee post anything new. The only thing I saw from them is Sean Farrell, the head of crypto strategy, said that the VIX spike suggests a buying opportunity after the FOMC meeting. That's pretty much all that came out of Fundstrat. There were a few other things too. He said the SPX breakdown was unexpected, but it doesn't look to extend, and they think that the market's going to go higher. So that's the Tom Lee approach on what's happening right now. And I agree that inflation's going to come down. I agree that the messaging, I think, was good because you take all the inflationistas and all the bond guys and you gave them what they wanted. So we're uninverting the curve. We're making it to where the long end is higher. We're making it to where the short end is lower. And so I think Papa Powell gave everybody what they wanted, or I should say, he didn't give doves what they wanted. He didn't give people that were leveraged with margin what they wanted, but he did help even things out. And make it to where, unlike the last meeting, again, hawks are like, oh, okay, he's not a crazy man. This is good, I think. We'll talk about Solana. We'll look at charts and stuff a little bit later. We'll cover a lot of that. Am I worried about MSTR ATM share dilution in the short term? No, man. MSTR is such a great deal, guys. You can't worry about share dilution. Let me do this. Oh, whoops. Did I just hit the wrong button? Let me go back. You can't worry about share dilution. We lost Siegel. Whatever. I know what he's going to say. He basically covered it. So we can skip that part. We got about 4 minutes anyway until we jump out. I do want to see if I can find a post real quick that I did yesterday, guys. just real quickly here. And again, if you guys could like on X and share this out, thank you to the 1,000+ people that are here already. Let me just go down. And if you guys are just catching up, I think today is going to be a great bounce day. I talked about this with the fear and greed yesterday. There's a lot of other stuff. We'll look at U.S. economic stuff. We covered my portfolio. We're going to be talking about economic data here in 3 minutes. But there's some stuff I wanted to cover. Let's do this real quick. I want to cover the optimism part while we have a second. This is why I'm optimistic, okay? I think that people are underestimating the Department of Government Efficiency. And let me just read this verbatim here real quick. I also don't think they realize that 70 to 80% of the governmental workforce is going to get cut in the next 4 years, and that we're going to be on a path for a sustainable budget. And this is Brad Garlinghouse talking about this. I think he's right. Here's the thing. Even if we don't do 70 to 80%, even if they did 30, 40%, that would be a much more sustainable path than what we're on. So even if you don't agree with that number, it doesn't really matter. It's headed in the right direction. Also, not to mention lower energy prices. So this was a response to somebody, Sharam, when we were just having a dialogue back and forth about how inflation isn't a big deal, okay? But lower energy costs. People want to complain and be like, oh, well, energy costs aren't going to come down. There's only so much they can do with the Permian Basin, blah, 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 all this shit. But here's the thing. Argentina has a bunch of gas. They're desperate to sell, and they're desperate to get their pumps running again. They nationalized things years ago. They have huge reserves. Russia, we're going to help end that war. They want to get their oil back out there again. We have a lot of ways to bring down the prices of energy. And again, guys, gas is the majority of our energy production for electricity. So there's things that we can do to bring down energy prices substantially. I think they're going to happen. As long as we don't have war, they're going to come down dramatically. Even if it's not 50% in the first year, does it matter? If you're cutting expenditures, you're lowering energy prices, you're deregulating open markets so that there's competition and just a ton of different sectors, right? Right now, especially if you look at medical, there's some big pharma companies, and they get all the money, and they get to decide what drugs come on the market. And if it's their competitors, fuck them, right? Just listen to Vivek and Balaji talk about how crazy that whole thing is, and the FDA and all this stuff. All that deregulation is coming, and the power that Doge is going to have is going to be astronomical. Guys, why do people not believe Elon Musk when he says things? Okay? When he says he's going to do something, he fucking does it. I hope people can realize this. Then we've got Trump, again, not only just renewing his tax breaks, which is good because then corporations are like, oh, that seems good. And then companies, there's also this incentive for all businesses to come to the United States because they'll get expedited approvals. And on top of that, we're giving incentives for manufacturing to come here. And then SoftBank, what did they just say? If you spend more, Trump said, again, with that whole approvals thing, if you spend more than $1 billion in the United States, we'll expedite approvals. SoftBank talking about spending $100 billion now in the United States already. This man isn't even in office yet. And I just want to say, all these things, all the things that I'm talking about on here, lowering taxes, encouraging business to come in, all these things, deregulation, they will increase CapEx expenditures, which increases efficiency in companies as they buy new equipment, they automate. Again, these efficiency gains will help margins, they'll help earnings. Then at the same time, they can help for hiring because they're actually expanding instead of contracting. These are all really good things for the economy. I hope people can realize this. I hope people can realize this, and I hope you realize that things are beautiful right now. You can look at things negatively. Use your monkey brain if you want to. Okay? Use your monkey brain if you want to, but if you do, you're going to lose a lot of fucking money. It's up to you, though, right? What did I put here? We'll see that trialed with the Department of Government Efficiency as they give a week. Oh, yeah, I was just saying. So this should say tried. This is what Voice to Text does. So somebody was saying, hey, we should get the government, because right now we have these big omnibus bills. If you guys don't realize this, the big omnibus bill that was 1,500 or something pages, it got rejected. It's not going through. The Department of Government Efficiency and Elon Musk killed that fucker, okay? Elon embarrassed the shit out of people, and he killed it because nobody wants to be called out on X. X is the source of truth now. The media is dying. I even watched a video from a Democratic senator yesterday mocking a reporter who was complaining that they were going to get pay raises and for Congress and how they were unpopular. And he goes, well, us, what about you? And he goes, how popular is the traditional media right now? And he goes, you guys have half the viewership that you used to have. So, we got economic data. He goes, so if you have half the viewership, he goes, why aren't you getting a pay cut? I think that's just such a beautiful thing and so true of what's going on right now. We'll get back to the Department of Government Efficiency in a second. Let's look at the data. So GDP growth, quarter over quarter, 3.1% versus 2.8%. We're doing fucking great. GDP price index, 1.9% in line. Initial jobless claims, lower than expected. Philly Fed manufacturing data, very weak, much lower than expected. We want to stimulate. Continuing jobless claims, they're fine, actually lower than expected. Core PCE prices quarter over quarter, 2.2, very close to in line. Corporate profits quarter over quarter, negative 0.4. That's not great. We want those to increase. I think that gets better in the near future, especially with all the things we just talked about. GDP sales quarter over quarter, 3.3%. Versus consensus and forecast of 3. Great. Jobless claims 4-week average, slightly higher, not a big deal. PCE prices quarter over quarter came in line. Philly Fed business conditions, 30.7. Let's look at this real quick. Previous was 50-something. Let's just look at the trend. Let's go to the 3-year here. So again, I would still say the trend is up. This is the trend over the last almost 3 years. It's up. So we like Philly Fed business conditions. Even though it came down, it looks close to what it was before. Let me refresh to get this all on the screen. So far, Bitcoin seems to like it. I think the market seems to like this data points, guys. They don't look bad. Philly Fed CapEx index. Again, this is capital expenditures, right? This is the number we want to see going up. Look at what it was doing in the end of 2023. Look at what it's been doing since. I would say this is a trend higher. Do you think that's going to go lower with all the cool things we just talked about? Fuck no. It's going to go up. Philly Fed employment was a 6.6. Previous was an 8.6. Let's look at this real quick. We'll look at it on the 3-year. I would say this is still a consolidation and trend higher. To me, this looks like a springboard. It looks like we're probably going to go higher. I like it. Philly Fed prices paid slightly higher than previous. So, but nothing crazy, right? Like, here's where we are, guys. Philly Fed prices paid. This is not an outrageous number based upon historical trends. So I don't think that's bad either. Let's look. Real consumer spending quarter over quarter. Real consumer spending quarter over quarter up 3.7, better than expected. This is all great, guys. This is fucking great. I don't see anything wrong with what we just got. Nothing. Let me just read comments here real quick. Doge's true power was shown and proven yesterday. X will be the engine that drives. Dude, don't bet against Elon Musk. I don't know how much more I can say that, guys. Don't bet against him. He's going to do way more than you expect. All you naysayers with your monkey fucking brains that always want to call out all the bad shit and why nothing good can happen in this world, you were the same people that thought the world was going to end with the pandemic. You're the same people that thought Donald Trump was going to lose the presidency because there's no hope, because it's just everything is going to fail. There's just no way it can get better. Don't be that person. Look towards the builders. Look towards the fixers. They're in fucking power now. I don't know how much more I can say that. Elon Musk, Perry says, Elon Musk will take spending cuts and government waste to the people through X and unite the American people's torches and pitchforks to apply pressure to elected officials to cut. Hell yeah. Drill, baby, drill. Cut. And the best part is, guys, the cuts on jobs will still pay people for 2 years, but it'll send a message to the bond market. You need to bring those yields back down. You need to buy American debt because we're going to have a Bitcoin strategic reserve. We're going to be the most sustainable fucking major economy on earth. And we're the place where you want to buy. We're it. And they'll realize that. Some will realize it later than others, but you will realize it. Fried food rocks. Did you see the post going around about Grok summarizing the 1,500-page budget? With LLMs being so widely available now, it's going to be really tough to hide. That's great. We need to get the pork out of these bills. Bills should be a thing that either passes or doesn't, and we shouldn't have omnibuses and everything. We shouldn't. They should rarely ever exist. With yeah, that was great. Asking for a friend, giving that CleanSpark invest in infrastructure instead of spot Bitcoin. How is it not a long-term hold as well? No, you guys learn about the Bitcoin cycles. Learn about Bitcoin cycles. If you don't get that, then you're going to lose a lot of money. And people will say that there isn't going to be a cycle this time around. If we go up as high as I think we can, there will be a cycle this time around. So you better recognize that. Jeff L., Jesse, and that was a Democrat, Dick Durbin, that ripped on CNN, viewership dropping. Right? We got a Democrat who was being questioned about them getting raises, and he turned it back around on them and said, have you taken a pay cut? You've got half the viewership you used to have. That's a Democrat turning on CNN. Legacy media is fucking dead. X is the source of truth. We are the source of truth. Nikki, yo, long time no see. Hope all's well. I think we're dealing with a classic case of vision blindness here, just like traditional finance with Bitcoin. They won't get it until and won't be well positioned. I agree, 100%. Preach it, Jesse. I always do. CNN Trader Girl, good morning. Glad to see you're feeling better. Yeah, a little bit. My daughter's puking this morning, so that ain't great. That was hilarious, Durbin. Wasn't it, though? Benny, what's your thoughts about deploying that cash back into this market? I barely have any cash. I deployed tons of it yesterday, guys. And then I posted, I indicated that I thought there was a drop coming. I deployed a bunch of capital into it. I'm less leveraged now, and I'm feeling good about things. And could we go lower? Yes, but I think, frankly, we should have a Santa Claus rally. We could drop more this morning, though. I don't care. I told you guys my plan. If I need to, I'll sacrifice my chips. I will buy my chip companies. I will buy more Bitcoin. I will buy more Tesla. I will buy maybe a few more leverage plays that can give me 10x, like PayPal, potentially ARKG. I'll buy the things I want to buy. Ideally, I won't sell my chips, but I will buy more if I need to. YT123, Jerome Powell should have finished the speech with, I'm going to sleep now. He just pulled a Haley Welch and Hawk 2'd the whole world, or the whole market. Yeah, he did. He totally did. He Hawk 2'd that shit. He's like, hey guys, I want to crash the market today because even though I say that I don't care about what equities are doing, I think they're getting a little out of hand, a little overheated, and I don't want them to melt up too much. So I want to reset the market expectations, make the bond and inflationistas think that I understand what's going on, keep them happy for a bit, and then if we can see some growth in the next year, then maybe I'll change my narrative a little bit, and we don't see too much inflation. Rob, did you watch Ben's interview with the CleanSpark management? I thought it was very reassuring about the company. No, I didn't, but I did watch. Is Ben Rex? Is Rex Ben? Whatever. I watched the other one from the mining pod, I think. If that's Ben, that's the one I watched. And that was with Zach Bradford, and that one was brilliant. I think Zach is probably the most articulate out of everybody, even more so than Matthew, and I like Matthew. Tesla's launching Robotaxi in Austin in 2025. Yeah, I believe it. Is there a new post about Tesla? If there is, guys, let me know. Please keep me up to date and the group up to date on everything that's happening. If you guys got something, throw it out. Jeff L. Doge is putting the heat on and making the SOBs work, making them work. Then they're sweating like the pigs they are, loving it. Dude, there's going to be major reforms in Washington. I don't think people get it, but Elon doesn't fuck around. Luke, and again, don't bet against Elon. It's just that simple. You don't have to be a rocket. Don't use the monkey brain all the time. Just realize that Elon is in power. Does Trump not look better than he ever has? Even if you don't like Donald Trump, does he not look more presidential than he's ever been? Ever? I need to go back here real quick. Donald Trump, I could say this, just used to just be a dipshit. Like his first term, he was just an idiot. Yeah, right here. This is the one right here, guys.
It's good news.
Talking about a raise, and he ends up mocking this reporter and saying that they need to lose all their money, or that they need to get a pay cut. And I just want to show something. I want to find this real quickly. I want to find this with Donald Trump. If I got it. If I don't, that's fine. Maybe I don't. I might have to refresh. This bookmarks get so wonky here. Yeah, no, I don't have it. But there's an interview with Donald Trump. Let me just see if I can find him real quick. There's an interview with Donald Trump where he was, or I should say maybe, just him talking. And he was talking about Xi Jinping. Oh, you know what? Maybe I put that under my China bookmarks. Let me go back now that I think about it. He was talking about Xi Jinping and just the way that he presented himself and talked about Xi and talked about China. I was so impressed by it. It's just a different version of Donald Trump right here. This is so good, guys. This is so good. Donald Trump has grown the fuck up. He is confident now. He knows that he's got an excellent team. He knows that he's on the right path. He doesn't have to like showboat and get mad, and he's not in his defensive state anymore. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Are you disappointed that China's Xi won't be at the inauguration?
I don't know that he won't be at the inauguration. I mean, I haven't really spoken to him about it. I don't know that, actually. I would say that if he'd like to come, I'd love to have him. But there's been nothing much discussed. I have had discussions with him, letters, et cetera, at a very high level. You know, we had a very good relationship until COVID. COVID didn't end the relationship, but it was a bridge too far for me. But if he'd like to come, I'd certainly be. He hasn't, just so you understand, he hasn't said one way or the other. Because a lot of people say he won't come, he will come. People think he will come, he won't come. It's something we barely discussed, just about didn't discuss. But I have had, especially through letters, some very good conversations.
Have you had conversations with Venezuela?
You know, because China and the United States can together solve all of the problems of the world.
Yes.
If you think about it.
Yes.
So it's very important. And, you know, he was a friend of mine. I mean, he was here for a long time, right in that spot, except sitting in a very comfortable chair. He wasn't standing like you are. But we spent hours and hours talking. And, you know, he's an amazing guy.
Have you spoken to Venezuela?
The press hates when I say that, but he's an amazing person.
Have you spoken to anyone in Venezuela?
This is such a smart move. Throwing out a fig leaf to China, letting them know that you weren't happy with what happened, letting them know at the same time that you want that together we can fix the problems of the world and that we should be working together. At a time where China is, you know, Xi has been belligerent and, you know, building up nuclear arsenal and talking about invading Taiwan more and more. He's got so much pressure in the homeland, guys. People don't know this. I have people that tell me all the time that I'm from China. If you look at my subscriber and follower count, you'll see that there's a lot of people that are in the Asian community that are following me now because they know I actually know what I'm talking about and I do research and I understand it a lot better. I literally had a guy just the other, like a week or two ago, tell me about how do you know so much about China? Most Westerners don't know anything about what's going on over here, and they believe everything that comes out of the mainstream media. And so they're in a rough place. They're in a desperate place. They need a better economy, and they don't want the tariffs. The tariffs are just the stick. This right here is the olive branch saying, hey, we can work together. We can figure this out. We can make it to where the pain can start to go away. And maybe American businesses stop fleeing your fucking country, but some things have to change. And this is the right approach. Whether we still go to war or not, this is the right approach. This is the approach we should have. And I am super impressed with what he's doing. I think it's brilliant. Luke Engelvar. Hey, Jesse, I'm 19. I've been listening to you for a while. Because of you, I've grown my stock portfolio to almost 40K. I want to be like you through investing. And how did you learn and know what you know? So I can be on your level one day. So I learned it from trial and error. I learned it from listening to people that were smarter than me. I just soaked it up. And a lot of what I've really learned has only been in the last like 4 years from the macro standpoint. I didn't even understand the bond markets before that or the treasury or how anything worked. I just taught myself. I had interest and I taught myself. I don't think there's ever been a better time to do that. You can take somebody's feed and their output and you can have Grok analyze it. You can ask Grok questions about whether he thinks it's right. Like there's so much that you can do right now to learn and to grow, even just listening to this and then listening to people that have opposing views and then developing your own. There's a lot of ways to really learn. And I suggest everybody do it. Everybody should be trying really hard to improve their knowledge on things. Even right here, this post I did yesterday, one of the best documentaries about the Federal Reserve. It's an hour long. Watch that. Learn things. That's all you got to do. Look at this. I love this. Jason Jason from the All In podcast now, guys, is talking about how happy he is that Americans are obsessing over the details in bills and questioning the spending. I love this new timeline. So do I, Jason. Eric Dougherty says Elon Musk says we need a law that requires all draft legislations be made available to the public and members of Congress for at least 7 days before a vote. That way, when you get these 1,500-page bills, there's plenty of time for everybody to know what's actually in them. Is that asking so much? Is that really that crazy? I don't think so. Also, here, let me just say this real quick. Oh, all right. So this is interesting, guys. This is something I want to cover. So first off, I want to listen to what Michael Saylor says, and then I want to say my part, and then I want to clarify some details here, because I think the same thing applies with the U.S. government, and I want you guys to hear this. This is important stuff, okay?
The first nation to print their own currency to buy Bitcoin wins.
That's it.
Right? Like, Tom, look what MicroStrategy did. We basically issue our own currency, our stock, and we buy Bitcoin. What happened? We went from $1 billion to $100 billion market cap is what happened. The first name.
So I want to break this down because people need this, okay? I said the U.S. is the country that can do this with ease since we're the world's reserve currency, because normally outrageous money printing would hurt our ability to pay back our debts, but in this case, it would make us more likely to be able to. So many really smart Bitcoiners don't seem to understand this. It's the same thing Saylor's doing right now. So there's Bitcoiners that get this. They're like, oh my God, MicroStrategy is so brilliant for doing this. But then they're still like, why would the government print money? That's bad. Print money bad. Like here, I think people overcomplicate what needs to be done. Exactly right. All government spending is taxation. Yeah, no, I get that. Elon Musk is right. All government spending is taxation, but it's not taxation if you don't put the money back into the money supply. It's not. It's not. It's the opposite of that. If you do a bunch of money printing and you cut people checks or you spend all that money, you end up diluting the pool significantly, right? But the dilution works in reverse when you buy Bitcoin with it. If you don't believe me, look at the amount of Bitcoin. Look at this real quick. Look at the amount of Bitcoin per share for MicroStrategy right up here. Even if you look at diluted, this number right here, they're selling their shitty fiat stock and they're buying Bitcoin. And every quarter that goes by, they've got more Bitcoin versus per share. This same concept would apply to the federal government. I hope you guys get this, man. This is a really important concept. Let me get back over here again. This is a really important concept that you need to understand. Where was I? Right here? Yeah, okay. This is a really important concept. And so again, that person's like, oh, all this is taxation, blah, 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 bad. It's like, okay, yeah, no, I get that. I get where you're coming from, but you're fucking wrong, okay? You're fucking wrong. And let me talk about this some more here real quick. I go, here's the key difference. So somebody's like, I can't wrap my head around this. Okay, let me help you with that, okay? Here's the key difference. If we print a bunch of money and make Bitcoiners rich, and the U.S. government is a Bitcoiner and has a large stack of it, a growing stack that they're adding to every quarter, then it makes them rich too. I said that doesn't happen right now. When fiat dollars are printed, they lose value, and because you're diluting the whole money supply, right? But you're getting no benefit from it the majority of the time. And I go, and if they're spent by the government, horribly inefficient with money, then they're really wasted. So the return on the dilution is garbage. I go, but the more the U.S. prints money to buy Bitcoin to add to the reserve, the more sustainable our debt will appear to foreign buyers and people in the United States, which keeps them buying our bonds, which lowers our long-term yields, right? So if you want to make it where people are more likely to buy your fucking bonds because you're the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry, you know what you do? You make government more efficient with the Department of Government Efficiency, and you make it to where our bonds are backed by something like the fucking gold standard in the 70s. And I said, if you combine the above with Department of Government Efficiency doing a good job balancing our budget, along with the help of Bitcoin offsetting the federal spending, then we can start pushing ourselves towards a golden age. And the quicker we do that, the better. It's the infinite money glitch and will destroy all governments who don't adopt it. Eventually, it will act as a gold standard, just like the one we left over 50 years ago. Essentially, the U.S. is printing and adding a percentage of their printing to a Bitcoin reserve would help greatly expedite the process of Bitcoin adoption, forcing the entire world onto the Bitcoin standard much quicker than it would otherwise. Please understand this. This is an important concept. Understand this. If we're in a government, guys, where we're lowering energy prices, if the Department of Government Efficiency is doing a good job, which they already are and they haven't even fucking started, and we've got companies like SoftBank spending hundreds of billions of dollars to invest in our country while embracing a Bitcoin standard and making our debts more sustainable, we win every way. Every way. The dollar isn't going to die because America fails. Sorry, Max Kaiser. I love you. I really do. But you're fucking wrong. The dollar is going to die because America succeeds. That's why it dies. It dies because Bitcoin wins and we win. That's the reality of what's coming ahead. And if you don't know that, you need to. All right. Time is a Prison says, it's good to have you back, Jesse. It was scary without you yesterday. Seriously, though. Thanks for all your help, you the goat. J-Dubs83, Rich, how? Isn't BTC valued on the basis? No, dude. No. No. All monies are valued against each other. All debts are valued against each other. Bitcoin is the purest form of money. It will win. Read the Bitcoin standard. Read it. Read it. Educate yourself, guys. If you do that, you'll have a much better life. All right, real quickly here. So it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm just gonna pull up the stock heat map index while I read through a few more questions here real quick. I'm happy to be back, guys. If you could hit the like, if you could throw out some love. This is what we looked like yesterday. Let's see what we look like in pre-market today. Looks a little better. Tesla up almost 3% today. Told you. Gabriel X. Like most other people, I'm glad we have the tailwind. But the same powers that created all these falsehoods, lawfare, etc., are still going to push back desperately now. We have to remain vigilant and willing to fight, lest we lose our republic in 4 to 8 years. Yeah, but we have the most brilliant people. I honestly, conservatively believe we have the most brilliant government we've had since the time of Truman, when there was also great change. And I'm excited about what's to come. And I think, yes, we should be vigilant. We should support people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump and everybody who believes in meritocracy and democracy and capitalism. But we can also be optimistic about our future. Don't let your monkey brain control you. Don't let it constantly get you to focus on the world coming to an end, because it hasn't happened yet. Does anybody realize that? The world has died 0 fucking times so far. It's got a really good track record. America has died 0 fucking times so far. Okay? And I would argue that America is one of the greatest civilizations in history and will be one of the greatest in the future, because we're doing the right things now. The dollar can actually get stronger, and it can be okay. Manufacturing can get stronger, and it can be okay. As long as we bring the rest of the world with us, which we can do through our strength. Yes, Jeff, through ending wars, through olive branches to China. Yes, all those things. The mainstream media is trash. Don't listen to it. Don't let your monkey brain get you to all the clickbait, okay? Andrew, dude, I love your optimism and just what we needed this morning. I hope so. Again, we can drop in the morning too. I don't know. But look at what's coming. Markets are forward looking. Do you think the rich people are more optimistic than they were a month ago with Kamala Harris potentially winning and corporate and taxing unrealized gains? We got David Sachs as the fucking crypto czar. Robert F. Kennedy helping with the medical and food and all this. Can you just imagine? We have amazing people in power right now. Okay, right? We have amazing people. Amazing people. And there's Elon Musk alone will change the world. He already is. And And I think Donald Trump is very impressive. I'm listening to liberal friends who are like, I've got to say, I'm a little shocked by the way Trump acts. He's not talking about retaliating against a bunch of people. He's talking about moving forward and uniting the country. And I actually think he wants to do it. Do I instantly share my trades on X and Discord? I do them really quick on X. That's the first place I post to. Discord, I post them shortly after. I don't always get it every time. Sometimes I can miss it. Sometimes I'm crazy enough, guys. Sometimes I have a life and I'm like doing other stuff. So it won't always be instant. If you want to day trade off of me, it's probably not going to work well. But X, usually, I'd say 95% of the time, my trades are on X within minutes after I do them. But I can't make that guarantee. And I'm not a Telegram day trading service. I don't give a shit about that. I'm a long-term investor who rebalances every once in a while and who tries to look towards the future to figure out, should I be leveraged now or should I stay away from it and be cautious? What should I be invested in? What does tomorrow bring? So that's what you get from X. And so on YouTube, you get the ability to comment. On X, you get the ability to be able to see all my stuff in real time and post that I won't post anywhere else. On Discord, you get an amazing community. What are we at now, guys? Matthew, all the rest of you guys, Tommy, the whole crew. Let me just see here real quick. We'll just check. On the Discord, again, you get charts. You get charts, not just from me. Tommy's been helping out a ton lately too. You get this. You get trades in one location where you can see them all. That's kind of nice. You get the portfolio allocation updates. I have not updated this yet in Discord. I just realized that. I got to do it. I'll do it. I'll get it done after this. And it charts. I had them all summarized, but now it's much bigger. But you get stream highlights. You get things that this is what Matthew's doing. One of the people who I really appreciate. You get YouTube alerts, so you can see everything in here. You get X alerts for my posts. We got a news feed on here. Thank you to Matthew for that. You have all these different other investments. They made a section for Jesse's current holdings. I didn't even know that. You guys are great, man. But so my current holdings you can find here right at the top. And again, you can see charts from people like Tommy, who I think are really great. He does things a little bit different. He does Elliott waves and other things that are different than what I do. But again, ArcG, you can see people talking about what's going on with this. You can see discussions about it, not just my stuff. Also, up here under the pinned, you can see my charts on here and any other relevant information about investments, and we got this for shitcoins. We got this for all kinds of stuff, okay? So the Discord has a lot of really great historical stuff, a wonderful community. And how many members do we have now? Almost 1,500, which is great. Thank you guys very much for all of that. It's a great group. But again, you just got to figure out what provides you value. A lot of people could do really well for free without paying me a dime. Not the recommended method, but it perfectly works. But if you want to know my trades and what's happening, you gotta be in X or Discord, or you're not gonna get them. Or you got to be watching these videos and spending time in here. But again, I think you get out of things what you put in. So I think contributing to these communities is helpful. I don't have any thoughts on sound right now, Mitch. We might be able to look at stocks in a little bit here. It's about 8 o'clock right now, guys. I'm just going to double check and make sure we don't have more economic data. The mods in Discord are awesome. Big thank you. Yeah, Value Maxi, I agree. My wife, too, admin wife, is great in all regards of life. But she also really helps out a lot there, too. What's the sentiment on TLT? So I'm not buying TLT right now. I did, but I cashed out of it to buy all this other shit, right? But I do believe the 20-year bond is going to have hope in the future. That's not a popular thing. James, Invest Answers, actually thinks bonds are fully dead. But I think that if we do a good job embracing Bitcoin, I don't think they die anytime soon. And I think they can actually be a good trade in the future if the market's topped out a year from now. And when global liquidity normally dies off, I think the bond market in the United States might be a great one if we're balancing our budget and embracing Bitcoin and doing all the other things we talked about today. I still like ArcG. I added to it yesterday, Akash. If Proven B says, if you benefit, you should support them. Yeah, and it's not just me. It's our community, guys. I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to also be signing up for Into the Cryptoverse because he's got a lot of really great indicators under his stuff, too. And I'm signed up to a bunch of things like macro, micro, like a fund strat, like Glassnode. just a bunch of different services that are allowing me to do more because you guys support me and support this community. And so the more you guys support, the more I'm going to try and do to support you. That's my promise to you, right? I do see something new here. Real consumer spending. I must have missed this. Oh, no, it's not new. I do believe I covered it. It was 3.7 versus 3.5. Let's look at the quarter over quarter on this. Again, guys, this is great. We want to see spending increasing. This is not a failing economy here. This is a good looking one. But we do have at 9 existing home sales data. I don't know if this will be stellar, but the forecast was 4 million. We'll see if it is. I hope these numbers increase. But again, with longer yields going up, I think it might not get good right away, but I do think that's all still changing in spring. I haven't changed my mind. I think people are going to see what's happening with Doge, and they're going to say, America's back. Start buying their bonds. Like, I'm going to buy a little bit of bonds over here. It's a lot safer than buying them in China. China's yields are through the floor, but that's only because people just don't know what else to invest in. There's very few things you could invest in China that are worth putting money into. The housing market's a fucking disaster. Stock market's a disaster. But again, guys, even China, global liquidity has been retracing. Oh yeah, and Michael Howell, I've got a membership with him, $75 a month. It's well worth it. With Michael Howell, the global liquidity has been muted. It's been really quiet. It's been lagging. That's going to get better here in the near future, and we're going to talk about that too. I'm going to try and roll through. The group is maturing quickly, in my opinion. Oh, and in Discord, you mean? Yeah, I think it is. I think we have one of the best groups out there. I'm super fucking biased though, because like this is my Discord, so I could be just, oblivious, but I do think we're great. I think a lot of others, again, I don't want to be a pump and dump, like all this bullshit, but I do believe or have a very high opinion of our group. U.S. economy, let's, again, guys, in case you missed it, the fear is at 29. Historically, these are all buy zones going back 2.5 years. We're actually a little bit lower down here. So I think this is a buy zone, and that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'll continue to do. And I'll probably sell out a little bit more. I was supposed to be taking out $250,000 in cash at the beginning of the year. So I will be doing that later. I do want to go through, let's just look through here real quickly and see if there's anything else. I do think a government shutdown is going to happen, potentially. And that if that does happen, I don't think it's going to be bad with markets because everybody's waiting in anticipation of Trump. So they're not really counting what's happening now. But I do believe the government could shut down. So keep that in mind. And Texas Senator John Cornyn speaks out about Speaker Johnson's continuing resolution. How on earth did a 3-month continuing resolution grow into a cramnibus of 1,500? Again, this is just supposed to be pay the bills for a little bit longer. This isn't supposed to be all the bullshit that this bill was created and turned into. And we'll look at some of that. I threw that in my Department of Government Efficiency section. But again, Powell wiped out $1.5 trillion in the stock market yesterday. I think at least a third to half of that comes back today. The dollar strengthened because of that. Whatever, not too big of a deal, I don't think. The 10-year spiked, but again, we want the long end of the curve to be higher. We don't hate that. I don't know. Again, couple dot plot. Who gives a fuck about the dot plot? I certainly don't. I think that's it for the U.S. economy part. I do want to run to the Department of Government Efficiency. I want to talk about some of this. So we started hitting it, right? We started hitting this a little bit. But let's just keep going down. So Farzad said the fact that the cage is being rattled before Doge formally bodes well for massive reform. I agree. Elon Musk said unless Doge ends the career of deceitful pork barrel politicians, the waste and corruption will never stop. Therefore, there is no choice but to do so. He will kill these motherfuckers, metaphorically, and get them out. Vivek Ramaswamy. Again, this bill needs to die. I just want you to hear this real quick, talking about the bill and just the waste.
Congress is about to pass a bill that blows away your taxpayer money, but they made it over 1,500 pages long so you wouldn't read it. I did you a favor. I read it for you.
It's supposed to be about keeping government operations open and providing disaster relief aid to hurricane victims, which I'm sympathetic to. But if you read the bill carefully, it contains pay raises for members of Congress, and I'm not making this up, an expansion of their federal health benefits. It contains all kinds of special interests and pork funding, including opening up a new stadium in Washington, D.C. It renews the Global Engagement Center, which is a key node of the censorship industrial complex. And the worst part is, They didn't want you to know about any of it, and that's why they made this a last-minute jam job. The reason I'm co-heading DOGE is I think we need outsiders to bring actual accountability to Washington, D.C. So feel free to call your congressman and let him know how you feel about it.
Oh, and you guys did. You did. So again, Mario Nawfal put X stopped the omnibus bill in its tracks. It wasn't just lawmakers tearing into this bloated spending bill. Elon took to X and lit it up. His post slammed the bill as outrageous spending and urged voters to replace anyone who supported it. House conservatives rallied and backlash spread like wildfire. By the end of the day, the $110 billion bill was toast. It was supposed to pass. He fucking destroyed it. And this is great because sunshine is the greatest disinfectant. People love to say that, and it is true. There is no more of this shit going on. We will not allow it. Say goodbye. No bill should be passed from Congress until January 20th when real Donald Trump takes office. None. Zero. I agree. Kill it. That's what we're doing, guys. It's kill Bill. We're killing Bill. That's what's happening. And again, just getting the truth out there. That's what's happening now. We've got Grok. Grok can literally analyze the bill and tell you and summarize what it is. There is no getting bullshit through bills anymore by making them super complicated. That's all gone. Look at this. Look at this. This is a continuing resolution. This is where we're just trying to fund the government and keep it going. This is why we were broken. This is what we were fixing. Mark Andreessen talking about it. These are all good things, guys. I post a lot of valuable stuff. I hope you guys pay attention. But just look here. U.S. government debt. This is from Michael Dell. U.S. government debt and spending vastly outpaced GDP growth. This isn't a new thing. You can see where this got worse since 2008. But look at it during COVID, spending growth, and then we were ramping at a higher base. If you look at the spread here versus what the spread was before COVID. Actually, 2008, we ramped a lot, but then the growth started to outpace, and we actually had an almost sustainable path. Now we have a parabolic rate of growth in spending and GDP not going the way it needs to. This has to end right now. It's totally fucking fixable. You can see that it was actually sustainable here. This is sustainable. This is not. This number needs to come down. It needs to be narrower than what we saw here. Also, government spending. Let's just talk about it. This is a new section for us, guys. It's Doge and Trump, the Department of Government Efficiency. We'll be talking about this a lot. Hut just bought Bitcoin. What? Sorry, I got to take a look at this, guys. Again, guys, this is the path forward. Whether it be miners or any other company that's out there, they're going to buy Bitcoin. What happens when they buy Bitcoin? The price of Bitcoin goes up. And when the price of Bitcoin goes up, you know what it does? It feeds their shares and their margins and their profits, just like it does with every company that does this. It's called the Bitcoin Standard. Companies are doing it. People are doing it. Pensions are doing it. ETFs are doing it. Corporations are doing it. States are doing it. And everybody's doing it. It's the thing. Okay? It's the thing. So realize this is happening, okay? Let's talk about pork belly bullshit. Look at this ugly fucking truck. Look at this ugly fucking truck. Now, can you imagine this being replaced by like one of do you remember those Tesla VNs? The big 20-seater thing? Imagine that with packages and two Optimus robots are getting out and replace this and just Optimus robots and Tesla vans doing all this bullshit. But let's read this real quick. A $10 billion program to buy EVs for the U.S. Postal Service is far behind schedule. Remember, they've been talking about this for like a half a decade, with defense contractor Oshkosh not disclosing significant manufacturing difficulties for more than a year. The USPS has received only 93 trucks, far fewer than the 3,000 they expected. Trump's transition team is considering canceling the contract to buy over 60,000 more of these electric USPS vehicles. Kill it. Nobody wants to look at this ugly piece of shit. Kill it. Shamath, Palahapatia. This is pathetically bad. Canadians opted towards warm, fuzzy DEI nonsense. Look at how the international community voted economically as a result. This is an important lesson for the rest of us to learn. Socialist virtue signaling is a quick way to shut yourself off from capital. Given enough time, this will eventually run your economy into the rocks. California especially needs to pay close attention. Trudeau took office. This is what's happened to their GDP. Do you guys understand what's happening here? Yeah, Bitcoin popping up 102,205. Markets recovering. Do you understand what's happening here? They understand. The market gets it. They ignore the bullshit news. They ignore their monkey brain trying to tell them that everything's going to fall apart. And you know what they do? They look at the path we're headed down versus the path Canada's headed down. And you know what? If Trudeau talks real nice to us and he agrees to leave office, we'll take you guys as the 51st state. We just got to figure out some shit because you guys got a bunch of liberals in there that are a little crazy. And so we got to make it to where maybe you don't have like voting rights for like 10 years until you figure shit out. But you know, we'll take you on. We'll bring you guys in. We'll bring you in. Or you know what you can do? Just get rid of Trudeau and get Pepe, whatever his name, I don't know, the other guy in there. Get him in there for now. He's not probably the greatest, but he sure as hell is better than Trudeau. Trudeau gonna go, okay? He's probably gonna be gone in a week, maybe two. Trudeau's gone, guys. If you don't know this, he's gone. Peter Thiel. We covered Doge enough for today. We covered Doge. Daryl, thank you for signing up, my friend. I appreciate you. Investment basics. I'm gonna hit this just for a little bit. There's a lot to talk about. We still got 19 minutes, guys, until the bell tolls. I wanted to say this. My buddy Jake said he's really stupid on China, but I'll get him there. After he makes some money, maybe in the spring, because again, China is going to provide a lot of liquidity at the end of January into early February, and maybe if they start working with Donald Trump here, we'll be able to get them on track. I don't know. I doubt it. I'm not as optimistic on China because again, they're a place that enslaves millions of Muslims. They're a place that enslaves hundreds of millions of their own people. There are over 370 million people that literally are just roaming gnomes who aren't even given like the ability for their kids to go to school in these first tier cities, even though they slave and work 80, 90-hour weeks to try and pay the bills and send money home. But they can't even find jobs to do that nowadays. So China is just not a great place. But he said something in here that I really want to highlight. He said, today was a great day to understand why short-dated calls can really fuck you. And it's true. That's why I only do leaps. And even right now, I'm dialing back on leaps because you got to be directionally right. And there's danger to them over shorter periods of time. When you make a lot of money off of them, like the 3 million-ish I made off of Tesla, that can get sucked out of them real quickly. The gains can get sucked out real quickly when we have a day like yesterday, or maybe a couple of days like yesterday. So I just want to encourage people, like, dial into leverage when it's a good idea, dial out when it's smart, and you've made a bunch of money. And that's what I'll try and do. And I'll try and let you guys know when I'm getting out of things. And somebody asked me, like, why did you get out of everything? Why'd you change your mind? I'm like, do you even listen to my posts on China? Do you listen to the slowing economies around the world? Do you listen about the market being overextended? Do you listen about quad witching being Friday and about us having the highest amount of option interest or outstanding options in history? Do you listen to me? Because if you only watch one or two of my posts and then you want to complain about shit, go talk to somebody else. I don't want to hear it. Okay? If you think I'm an idiot because I'm dialing out a leverage one day and then you're asking me why I did it when the market had investments that dropped 20, 30% in a fucking day with the options that and you got hurt during that, but you're asking me why I changed my mind so quickly, I've got no sympathy for you. Benedict says, is there a textbook definition for how long out leap is? Usually, yeah, greater than 12 months. That's pretty much it. And they can be out 2.5 years. I don't know. They might get longer than that. I haven't seen it. Maybe they can. You guys in chat, let me know. And so again, watch out for leverage. Cantonese Cat said too, don't be that person who buys a little early, too mid-cycle, makes money, then buys out a lot more towards the end in the cycle and did not sell. This is about Bitcoin, and this is so true. Don't be the person who gets excited about making a bunch of money in the Bitcoin cycle and then puts more and more in as we go higher. And then you've got all of it in at the top, you miss the top, and then you lose a bunch of money. Don't be that person. Be the person who gets in early, and who dials out a leverage on the way up like I've been doing. You want to be that person, okay? Let me see what else we got here. This is Wolf saying the dot-com bubble circled in red looks insignificant compared to the growth we've experienced since. Again, you want to be in, not out. That's investment basics. We're done with that. Let's move on. I want to real quickly go to Bitcoin and talk about that because there's been so many good things. Again, we just had HUD 8 buying. Have you seen the Hertz used car market? Some really great deals there. Rented car this week. They offered to sell. Dude, they're so desperate. The used car market is fucking horrendous. We're going to talk about that in a bit. So we got HUT buying today. We got Mara buying today. Today alone, guys, we have almost 17,000 Bitcoin. That is over 30 days of supply. About 35 days of supply. Got maybe a little bit more. Got bought today just by 2 companies. A month's supply by 2 companies. All right, we talked about that one. Dennis Porter, the Exchange Stabilization Fund. This is what they're going to try and use to do a day one executive order in order to be able to start a Bitcoin strategic reserve. He said that the Exchange Stabilization Fund established by the Gold Reserve Act of 1934 marked the end of the gold standard era and the dawn of the fiat era. That was like the beginning. That's probably the first part of it, right? And then Nixon getting rid of the gold standard in the 70s really was the death of it. But this was like the start of that process. He said it's fitting that very tool introduced the fiat era could also be the beginning of the Bitcoin era. I think that's true, and I think that's amazing. And I love it. Simply Bitcoin said, just in, open letter to the Dutch government regarding the establishment of a national Bitcoin reserve. The Dutch are doing it. Chinese automotive company Cango Incorporated just yesterday has quietly become a major Bitcoin mining company. In November, it announced the purchase of 32 exahashes of mining hardware and is in talks for another 18. So they're going to be the size of Mara here soon with what they're looking to acquire. So China definitely is starting to understand this. And Hong Kong just gave authorization for a bunch of exchanges to be able to start exchanging Bitcoin. This is so simplistic. If anybody ever asks you what's the use case of Bitcoin? Here it is.
People are always looking for the use case when it comes to Bitcoin. And the use case is obvious, is that I have money and I want to keep it.
That's it. Welcome to Bitcoin. That's the use case. Fucking move on. Joe Burnett said, the last time the VIX was this high, August 5th, go back and look at what happened if you bought Bitcoin that day. So August 5th, let me find that. So August 5th, Bitcoin dropped to 49,000. Do you think you would have done good? I think so. Vivek, while you're scared, BlackRock bought $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in the last 48 hours. Kim Young-ju, BlackRock's gold ETF, it took 20 years to reach $33 billion in assets under management, while their Bitcoin ETF nearly doubled gold's in less than a year. 20 years, double in one. Again, Hong Kong, SFC approves and lists 4 new Bitcoin and crypto trading platforms. I think they also did more on top of that. Bitcoin may hit 200,000 by mid-2025 as price drops will remain mild, says Bitfinex. I agree. They also said Bitfinex analysts believe that increasing institutional adoption will create strong demand-side pressure, making Bitcoin price dips in 2025 short and temporary. This is why Michael Saylor is buying so much Bitcoin with his ATM and bond convertibles right now, is because he wants to get ahead of the train. He gave you a three-year plan, and then he's doing it in months, quarters max. This is bar chart saying income needed to afford a home over the last 125 years. Look at how crazy it's gotten, guys, just since 2011, like down here to now. I said Bitcoin fixes this because it does. Because the stores of value won't just be in real estate anymore. It'll be in a more liquid market that known as Bitcoin. Don't believe me? Look at the Cardones. Breaking, the FDA has determined that tirepatide shortage is resolved. Hims. Oh, so that hurt Hims? Did that hurt Hims? Is that why they're down? I don't know. I don't have Hims. Dennis Porter, major breaking in less than 48 hours, another huge announcement. So this was on the 17th, guys. So he's saying today at 1 p.m., there's another large announcement about Bitcoin. And then again, Metaplanet. Metaplanet is accelerating their purchases of Bitcoin. This is the size of Bitcoin, guys, compared to all the other equity sources of value on Earth. We got a $120 trillion money market it's going to pull from. We got a $3 trillion bond market, a $330 trillion real estate market, a $115 trillion equity market, a $6 trillion car and collectible market, $16 trillion gold, and $18 trillion art. If it takes 1% of each of these, that's what, 4.2, 7 trillion, 8 trillion. So almost, over $9 trillion. If it takes 1% of all these other things, then we're looking at a market that's $11 trillion, potentially higher, because you don't need all that money to flow in for the assets to go up in that. You just need people to agree on a new price. So, fuck, guys, wake up. We're going to be cannibalizing gold. We're going to be cannibalizing all those things. Okay? We got more to talk about. We got 9 minutes until the bell rings. I actually want to take a moment here real quickly to jump over and talk about Tesla. Thoughts on buying BITX? That would be good for a day trade maybe. But again, I'm not dialing into 2X funds. I wouldn't hold them. It's probably got better tracking than MSTU or an MSTX. Metaplanet may be added for trade in the US per Quant Bros. I believe it. Those guys are okay. Let me see what else we got here. Alex Hosenlar. Sorry, I probably butchered your name. How much say does the Fed have in making BTC a strategic reserve? None. Powell made a comment about how the Fed has no interest in. They have no interest in it because they can't hold it, and it's not in their position to say anything about it right now. But it was kind of interesting that he said that. Alex Garcia, $5 trillion worth of options contracts set to expire tomorrow. Very significant day tomorrow, plus rebalancing of the S&P and the NASDAQ. Yeah, exactly. Lots of turbulence. Akash 2000. Wouldn't surprise me even if we dumped. I mean, we don't have to, but having a dump in some markets this morning and then shoot up. They're just wiping out all the leverage plays, guys. It's the same shit over and over again. Marco Polo says, poor Germany sold their BTC and lost their manufacturing dominance. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second. So real quickly, Tesla. And if you guys have more on here that I'm not covering, let me know. Breaking, Elon Musk says self-driving cars will be 90% plus of miles driven by 2035. Elon Musk just told you in 10 years that almost all travel is going to be autonomous vehicles, of which they dominate. You can ignore that at your own peril. Trend Spider said the last massive Tesla rally came off the heels of a lower interest rate environment. Will this add fuel to the fire? Yes. Again, we got a couple of dots off the plot, but we know the Fed sucks at that. So who gives a shit? All right, let me keep going here. This is a big one, guys. Volkswagen profits over the last year, 64% drop. Audi profits dropped by 91%. BMW dropped by 84%. Mercedes dropped by 54%. The German car market is literally dying, but it's not just them. It's the United States too. I watched this stupid bitch on CNBC lady say, look at this Waymo car avoiding this person. Have you guys ever seen a Tesla do anything like that? Yeah, literally. Right here. I mean, it's not a person. It's a fucking deer. So, yeah. And Tesla full self-driving, I drove it for a little bit, or it drove me yesterday, guys. It's amazing. It's like having a chauffeur in your car. It's amazing. Singapore-based, already profitable educational business now on BTC Treasury, BTC Holdings. Do you guys have any new news events about Bitcoin today or Tesla or anything? Let me know. Breaking, Tesla on track to achieve 30,000 yearly sales in South Korea for the first time ever. Sales for Tesla are just going through the roof right now, guys, while everything else is dying. The Cybercab, this is just a beautiful walkthrough of it. It's going to be amazing. This is a Tesla millionaire who bought Tesla and just talks about his experience about owning Tesla and how he's not getting rid of it anytime soon. This guy is just a average dude who put $10,000 in Tesla, and now he's a millionaire. Jeff Lutz. It all makes sense now. The ridiculous stories Reuters were doing on Tesla factory one-day shutdowns and utilization dropping by 90% were chum for short sellers. But anyone who understood manufacturing knew this was already unfiltered, fabricated BS. Again, $300 million the Biden administration put towards trying to lie about Tesla. Not acceptable. Not acceptable. This will not be happening ever again. And you can read this in here, too, about how it's misleading. I still think that's bullshit. But Son of the Walkie, breaking Dan Ives says, it continues to be Tesla world and everyone is paying rent. Again, his price target's in the 500s over the short term. And I do believe this is true. I believe that we're seeing Tesla going up while NVIDIA's going down, all that stuff. We got Juniper coming out in Q1. We've got lithium refining happening right now. We got Pocahontas complaining. This is great. Senator Pocahontas sent a letter to the Trump established conflict of interest rules for Elon Musk, given his top advisor, per WAPO. In response, Trump team called her Pocahontas and said that Warren has a career politician whose societal impact is 1,024th of Elon Musk. So he basically gave her the middle finger. Let me see here. Again, me just telling you that I sold my position. Hardware preparation for FSD to enter China is already done. Again, you can see that China is going to be rocking full self-driving. Again, we got lithium refining up. We've got semi factories going into full production. We've got everything is firing on all cylinders. I hate saying it firing on all cylinders because it's not really true. They don't have cylinders, but you guys know what I mean. You got cars backing up with FSD. Again, right here, large-scale lithium refinery grade, announcing the weekend that raw materials thought. So again, guys, the world is changing, and don't worry about China talking about banning materials and things that we use for our refinement and our factories and yada yada yada. It's all bullshit. We're going to be pulling all that stuff here, and they know it. It doesn't matter. It has virtually no impact. We are incredibly rich with lithium and all these other things. It's just a matter of having the willingness to do it. And we haven't had that from the federal government for a very, very long time. Trump didn't have the power to do half the things he wanted to in the previous election, and the other administrations didn't want to. All that is changing. We've got complete and utter control. You got Michael Dell talking about how incredible Grok is. You got Google CEO saying that Tesla is the leader. Again, just a lot of really important stuff, guys. Tesla's the winner. Let's just leave it at that. Let's go back here. And we got about 2 minutes until the bell rings. We're going to go back to that. We'll probably, I don't know if there's anything else I want to talk about. There's so many other good things going on. Again, DLO, probably toast if you're in those options. The stock might do all right, but I don't know why they're trying to sell out. I don't like it. ARGT, I put a bunch of money into. We'll look at that. Palantir, I'm growing more fond of. I think the relationship, I haven't bought any. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the stock. I still think it's overvalued, but it could stay here a while because I think the relationship with the federal government could be a strong one. I'm not buying, though. I'm waiting for my drop. SoFi, I did buy yesterday. I really think a lot of great things are happening with SoFi. I think PayPal is still in a good place. Again, we know record sales for this quarter and holiday season. That's all good stuff. Let's check geopolitics real quick. We got about a minute before the bell rings. Again, you got Farage here, Nigel Farage with the UK. We got all these people, all these countries, guys, they're begging. They're coming to Trump. They're begging for any attention they can get. Really good stuff happening on all these fronts. Let's get over to the bell real quickly here. We'll zoom in. Will I add to Micron? I don't know.
The verbiage for not cutting rates. David,
we'll see. It's still it's a percent of my portfolio, less than that right now, probably.
If they had not set us up, not told.
I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out the chip sector, guys. I'll probably do another video, probably a standalone, talking about some of my thoughts on AMD and SMCI and the rest of these. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it all out. There's a lot to learn in the chip sector on who's going to be the leader. I've got to figure. I've just put my feelers out there, guys.
whatever, that we need a cut, and then they
conference either in terms of articulating the current stance.
No, I don't, and I feel, I don't like to criticize him. I think he's working really hard, but yeah.
You guys do what you want to do on MSTU and MSTX. I sold out.
So good.
I think MicroStrategy is going to go up, but I don't like the chop.
It's a tough game trying to monitor all the conflicting signals in this economy. Let's get the opening bell here on this Thursday on the CNBC Real-Time.
Excuse me, guys. My throat's still really rough.
It's Corebridge Financial.
I'm tired.
At the NASDAQ, recent IPO, Wingwit Food, a meat product processing company in China. Interesting numbers out of the NYSE.
When are you going to make a member video? I don't know.
7 out of the 10 biggest IPOs of the year here. 9 of the 10 best performing
I don't know.
IPOs
My
of
last
the
2
year.
member videos sucked. They were DLO and Flux. How well did that turn out? So I don't care about making member videos. If you guys want to get your $2 worth and need a member video, if I talk about the chips, I'm going to probably make those member videos. But I think I need to do a lot of research. I don't want to just throw out things and have people lose a lot of money. That's not my goal. And again, so when I like Flux and DLO, I had a percent. DLO got all the way up to 3, but these are small positions for me. I want to really do a good job providing value to you guys. I like ASML actually. I'll probably end up buying some of that too. We'll see. Let's real quickly though look at the portfolio. We should be getting some recalc here and see how things are going. Thank you to the 1,200 people that are here. This is my highest number, I think, outside of X streams failing. So if you guys could hit the like, if you think you're getting value, I appreciate it. How cool is it that CleanSpark is the top performer today with miners? I love that. Short squeeze inbound? I think so. I think we're actually getting that, guys. If we look over here real quick at CleanSpark and just look at this chart, people are going to be like, oh, God, we've still got a gap to fill. We actually filled a huge portion of it. That gap is fucking tiny now. If you look at this under normal gap fill standards, let me just see here. That gap is like almost non-existent. I usually count that as a gap fill. Could we go lower? Yeah, totally. But look at where we're at right now. Okay, so we're starting off really good today. And I think we're going to accelerate and get even more strength. So I like what I'm seeing right now. Again, guys, I think CleanSpark, if you look at CleanSpark, just to get back to where it was, let's see here. Let me just get my dates. Let me move this real quick. If we just get back to where we were in March, guys, how much of an increase is that? 106%. If we get back to where we are in March in the next month or two, because remember this, miners are going to have a really good quarter, guys. What happens, guys, if Bitcoin's at 120,000 at the end of this quarter, and Bitcoin has literally more than doubled? Miner performance is going to look a lot better because the hash rate over that period of time has not doubled. Let's look at that real quick, actually. Let's just hop over here. Again, this is why we do these memberships, right? Let me look up hash rate. So let's look at the hash rate over the last month. Oh, okay. That's weird. Oh, here, one sec. I got to hop out and log in. Just give me a second. I don't like to show all my logins. Oh, yeah, I'm happy to. I'm sorry I wasn't there earlier, guys. I've just been really sick. If you guys can't tell, I wasn't lying. I am sick. All right, so let me just go over here. I'm going to shorten this time frame a lot because I want this to make more sense. So this is the hash rate, right? So what's happened with the hash rate over the last quarter? Okay? The hash rate at the end of September, where are we at? Let me just find it real quick here. Hash rate end of September, okay? Right here. Okay. So the hash rate end of September was right here around 565. Where is it right now? 796. Okay. 565, 796. Let me do the math on that real quick. If somebody can do that in their head, let me know. All right. So we've had roughly like a 20, or let me do this. So we've had roughly like a 25%, 30% increase in the hash rate, but we've seen the revenue double. So this is going to look like a lot of growth for these mining companies, and that's a good thing. That's what we want to see. So I believe, and if we do what I think we're going to do, we're pushing near 103,000 now, guys, getting closer for Bitcoin. I think that we're going to see miners do a lot better for Q4 in their Q1 results, and I think people are going to get excited. And so I think these things are going to do good. I'll be selling into that excitement, okay? Now, Perry Shelton, add the FASB accounting rules that get to be used by miners on the next earnings in the stock. I think some of them are using them. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think a number of miners already incorporated FASB accounting rules into their metric because it was voluntary at the start of this last year. So I don't know if they're all going to benefit from all of that, but either way, if they haven't, they will. And again, I think it's going to be really good, and I'm excited about it. Yeah, FASB's old news for miners. It's new news for MicroStrategy. It's new news for MicroStrategy. Simler Scientific, again, this is like a MicroStrategy type play where they're adding a bunch of Bitcoin to their balance sheet. Top performer. CleanSpark up 7.2%. Does anybody hate that today, guys? If you guys are in chat and you hate the fact that CleanSpark's actually up today, let me know. If you think CleanSpark's going to crash by the end of the day, let me know. Palantir, again, looking strong. I would not short this fucking stock. I don't think you can. Coinbase up 5.54. Let me just sort again here. I just want to make sure I'm getting all the latest and greatest. Yeah, look at this. Simler, Palantir, Coin. CleanSpark's at 5 right now. Mara at 5. So CleanSpark's dropped a little bit. Riot at 5. Miners are leading the day, though, guys. MicroStrategy up 4.5%. Shorts will try and pull them down, but I think this is good. Glad I bought SoFi yesterday. Hood looking good. A lot of these really good companies are holding on strong, guys. This is not a weakness sign. PayPal up 2.75% on the day. Again, just this is looking good. This is looking good. Neo's even up. Even this piece of shit is up. How exciting is that? Bitfarms is up 2%. Solana's up. Nvidia's up. Uranium's up a little bit. Tesla's up 1.4. Got a few things dragging into the day. Maybe we even have a retracement in the morning. Possible. I wouldn't discount it. VIX is down 70 or 27%. Let's just look at that real quick. Well, I'll pull it up in a second. I was going to click on it. Oh, there we go. So if we just look over here, let me just get rid of this. I'll do the full chart. Look at this VIX. Look at how crushed this number is even just from yesterday. And I don't see it going a lot higher. If you guys have all the reasons why it will, please let me know. FASB has no correlation with stock price. It will impact stock price. It will impact stock price because of the way that they had to write down their holdings, and the way that people are looking at it from an accounting perspective, and the way they value these companies going forward in regard to their Bitcoin allocations. It's very effective. It helps them a lot because, again, they don't have to write it down to the lowest level that it was at during the quarter. They can literally just have it at a fair value. It's really beneficial. And it will impact stock price. The calculations, I think, have roughly a $50 to $100 increase in MicroStrategy's stock price based upon FASB accounting rule changes. ARKG is dying. I don't think it's dying. It might be getting beat up, but it doesn't matter. ARKG is just really risk on, guys. It's the highest part of the risk curve, okay? So just remember that. Let me go over here real quick. I'll pull it up. And again, we could trade down into the morning. This can happen. But look, ARKG isn't dying. If anything, I want to buy more of it. Because I still think there's a possibility of getting up to the 50 range and roughly doubling over the next year. Especially if the market goes risk on. If we think all these wonderful things are happening in the market, we have perfectly hit support here again. I'm probably buying more ARKG this morning. Might actually bail in a little bit, guys, to do that. I'll let this 9 o'clock data come out, or actually I'll probably just do that now on another screen. While you guys are sitting here, I'm going to make a couple of quick trades, and I'm going to go ahead and just pull up CNBC and give you live on CNBC. So we'll listen to them real quick while I'm doing a little bit of trading. Because I got to do my stuff too, right?
Seen the Toy Story movie. Or Mrs. Potato Head. Is that no? Wallace Shawn is the dinosaur. Who does the voice of Potato Head? I can't remember.
Mr. Potato Head. Oh, long-standing.
Riveting dialogue.
Knowledge of the potato business.
Speaking of management shifts, Jim, Dollar Tree, third CEO in 2 years. We're going to get Nike tonight. Elliott Hill, his sort of debut.
Yeah.
Stock has a rough history of fading on earnings reaction.
Well, I have to tell you,
Wall Street Journal story today as well about the significant discounting that Nike has been doing to clear out inventory.
Yeah, but you know, people always want to get the jump on that thing. I don't think Nike's anywhere near where it has to be yet. Look, Jordan's not selling. People don't want to talk about that. And if we can just go back to Dollar Tree, I switched. I don't know if anyone follows me on X. I switched to Dollar General.
Why did you do that, Jim?
I think they have more selection and lower prices now. There's too many things at Dollar Tree that are not $1. I mean, at Dollar Gen, I went up to the cash register. You can't possibly have these milk duds for $1. So listen, we don't cheat. Our candy, when you say it's $1, it's $1. So, and I've got to tell you, the Dollar General, spotless. You could eat off the floor, not that you want to do that.
No, I prefer not to. We've got a big rebound.
How's your Dollar General?
I have not been to a Dollar General.
There's like 10,000 of them. He's never
One
been
second,
to one.
almost done.
We've got a big rebound in the banks after, of course, a very significant decline yesterday in the last hour or so of trading. That was a really
nasty.
That was nasty.
Nasty.
Higher rates, obviously a concern perhaps, but we do have a significant move back the other way with all of them up, let's call it roughly 2% or so. You can see some of the biggest financial institutions in our country.
Look at that. Wow. People love Citi.
PayPal options are getting flushed today too, guys. 18% down. I got a feeling we'll see a lot of that.
I can't.
How about Salesforce bouncing back?
All right.
Got shelled.
Let me mute these bastards again. I'm kind of done with some of my trading here. I did a little bit. Can we take a look at the MicroStrategy chart, please? Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's pull some stuff up, guys. I'll try and get some charts up here. If you guys got a chart you want to see, we'll throw them out. I'm probably going to go through the big ones too. So MicroStrategy down in the breakout zone. Again, if we get some kind of flush today, guys, we could still see it. I could totally see it. Again, we've got the witching hour between now and Friday. We could see more downside pressure. I think you should be prepared for it. If you look at this here, we broke down out of this. We need to get above it. If anything, what we're forming on MicroStrategy, guys, and it's kind of hard to draw it here, but it's looking kind of like a descending triangle. I don't think it's going to be that, but I do think that what will probably end up happening, let me just show you what I think is going to happen here. I do think we could fill this gap still. I think that's a possibility. I don't think that's crazy, but it doesn't have to happen either. It doesn't have to happen. Again, I think you need to focus on all the good stuff, and you need to be a buyer in this market is my take. But could we have something like this before going higher? Maybe. Maybe we could have something like this, like a downward channel before we bounce. It could happen. And I don't know if it will, but I'm going to kill this alert because I don't want to get annoyed by it. There we go. But yeah, MicroStrategy can still drop, which is why I don't want to be in the MSTU and MSTX plays. Right, MicroStrategy up 3.5% today. Or it could just do this. It could just climb up. People could get excited about the market again today. And none of this could be a big deal. I'm not selling. I'm only adding. So that's my take. I'm only adding. And again, I'll liquidate some of my other positions if I need to in order to be able to add to that one. Wow, I got alerts going out for the Russell. Let's take a look here at the bigger indices, guys. I want to look at the S&P. I want to look at the NASDAQ. So S&P today. S&P today, doing all right. I mean, again, which way is it going to go? I don't know. It could go either way. It's up 1% today. We're getting a bounce. Could we drop down to this line where we find support? If you look at this curvature form that I have here, yes, it would be totally okay for this thing to drop down and test one more time before going higher. Or it could just do it right now. I don't know which. I don't care. I'm looking at this as a positive long term. And again, looking at the monthly looks weird. It looks like there's a wick. There isn't really one. Let's just jump up in the NASDAQ. I need to actually extend this out. So the NASDAQ, if you look, I need to move this over, is finding support on the .786. We'll see if it can hold. But this 21,350, 60 level, it would be ideal if we hold that today going into tomorrow, okay? That's what we're looking at on the NASDAQ. Let's look at the Russell. Is the Russell getting killed? It's a small cap. Wow, it really got flushed out today. Really got flushed out. See, again, even great people like Tom Lee can be wrong about the direction of things. Because, again, small caps, have they gotten any blessings? No. And if anything, they look like they're not going to for a little bit. But they've wanted to. And we'll see. Things could change. Things could change. That could be the bottom, and we could end up going higher here and trying to find support at the .382 up by 23.50. We'll see if that happens. Let's look at the dollar. I'm just trying to get a gauge of the overall markets real quick, guys, and then we'll go back to some individual stocks. Dollar trying to break up above here, but again, this has been resistance. We'll see if it ends up coming down. Price target in spring for MSTR. I think MSTR can go crazy fucking high. Adam, gambling, painful, recently, heavy in 3X, going to keep averaging down. 3X is killer. Good luck, man. That's a strong bet. I know it's painful. Good luck. Yeah, so again, dollar looking like it's going to break down, actually, which I like. Let's look at the yen carry trade and the Chinese yuan. So again, the yen carry trade unwinding, we've gotten closer to that. But the fact that the Japanese or the Bank of Japan didn't raise their rates is preventing this from happening right now. Chinese yuan, I don't love Intel right now, but again, I think it's dead, but I could be wrong. I need to do more research on chips. That's what I'm trying to do now. The U.S. dollar gaining tons of strength against the yuan, looking to really hurt it. I think this is kind of Trump's leverage for trying to go after these guys and let them know that, or I should say, Trump's leverage in order to be able to go after these guys, and really make it to where they bend a knee, and I think they'll be able to do that. Let's look real quickly at I want to look at put call ratio. I got a feeling people are going to start buying in. So this was at really low lows yesterday. We'll see what it looks like. I got a feeling a lot of people are buying insurance today for anybody that gets scared. Let's look at the ruble versus the dollar. So it looks like we had a little bit of a back test. We turned it into support. So it looks like the dollar is gaining strength against the ruble. It's gaining strength against everything right now. Let's see how oil's doing with this. Oil is $70 a barrel. I think that's goofy. There's just, again, demand is not strong for oil, and we're seeing additional cuts from OPEC, just trying to stabilize prices. This isn't going to work out well for them for long. Let's check the bond volatility. Bond volatility is starting to drop a little bit today. That's good. Again, we've got this whole thesis: when the bond volatility goes down, equities go up. That's what history tells us. Let's look at the VIX today, too, and see if it's getting a bounce back, or if it's starting to go down. And again, don't be scared out. So I think this is where VIX is going. Again, we had a massive uptick. We could climb a little bit more today, but the pattern is to go down. So I think any dips today should be bought. That's my take. Kirby AI, what levels? And again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm some dude in his basement who dropped out of high school. What levels do you think CleanSpark can go to past 25? I still think it's going to 40. But it looks like the market wants to test down first today, and that's great. Again, guys, we want to see a flush out. We want to see a flush out. We want all the leveraged longs to be wiped out. We want less leverage in the market. That's how we sustain our next leg up. Yeah, if you want financial advice, talk to me, Kevin. He's really good about that. He'll help you lose money, but he's registered to do that. So definitely, he's a great guy to talk to. All right, let's look here. I think a lot of the market's going down. Let's look at Mara. Mara up 2.31, but again, retracing off, testing support. I could see further testing before we go higher. But here's what I love, guys. What was previously resistance is going to turn into support. I think this is really great. I think support is coming very, very soon. I don't know if it's today or Friday, but it's coming. There was nothing bad in today's economic data, guys. Okay, nothing bad. It looked great. Just everybody cares about dot plots all of a sudden, even though they complain about how they're never right. All of a sudden, everybody cares about them. Let's look at CleanSpark. Up 3%. So again, off its recent. Could we still have some kind of panic fear where people get scared, like oh shit, we're not going to go up, and then that we close this gap down at 1080 something? We totally could. It could happen. Are you prepared for it? I'm mentally prepared for it. I hope you guys are. Purdy Financial, I listened to him yesterday after Powell and just did not enjoy what he was saying. Sad. Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Jesse, I know you're down 60% on DLO. What kind of news or things are you looking for to determine when to sell? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm basically considering it dust. And technically it says I'm down 54% right now, but I'm considering it dust. So I don't know. I don't really care. You could try so there's two bets, right? If you're in it, you could wait and see if maybe we get a recovery into the end of this year, like we get our Santa Claus rally, which I still think is going to happen. And if that happens, then you can sell out of it. And again, you want to get further beyond the news of a potential buyout. And then maybe people forget and some people start buying the options. I've got 2,700 of them for that 35 strike for January 2026. Unless some amazing things happen, I don't see how that turns into any profit. It is a very asymmetric bet, though. So for 50 grand, that is less than 1% of my portfolio. I'll probably just let it sit. But again, it's up to you. You maybe want to get beyond the news if you're going to sell and see if anybody gets optimistic, or it could just go to zero really quick, especially if they sell. If they sell, it's really doubtful that it's going to go from $11.83 to somebody buying it for $40 a share, right? Like that's not going to happen. Maybe they buy it for $14 a share. Maybe they buy it for $15 a share, but these options become worthless in that case. So it's up to you, man. I'm probably just going to wait a little bit longer and then dial out. What's your estimate for MicroStrategy move in the next 1 to 3 months? Nobody's going to remember this dump in a week. I agree, Cash. Travis said, real quickly, I'll get to the MSTR one. Travis Wirt said, hey, Jesse, greatly appreciate you. Just logged on. Just wanted to ask, are you still holding Mara options? I don't have Mara options. I haven't had Mara options. I'm holding Mara stock. The only options contracts I have are ARCG because it's an asymmetric 10x the underlying bet. PayPal, because again, it can do 5 to 10x the underlying asset. And then I have options. I bought back a couple yesterday when they were down 20% for Tesla. I'm up today on all that stuff. And then do I have any other options? I got the DLOs that are probably going to turn to dust. And then I've got CleanSpark. And I'll be dialing out of the CleanSparks more aggressively than I was going to in the past. But that's it. I don't have options in anything else. MicroStrategy targets. Good question. Let's go back to MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy, I think what are my targets? What do I think it can get to? And the next 3 to 6 months-ish, I think we can get into the 870 range really easily to 1,500. And the next, let's say 3 to 9 months, I'd say 850 to that. And so that's a lot of money from where we're at, right? Like from where we're at. And if we go down here, guys, I'll liquidate all my fucking chips. If we go down here to like the 280, 300 range, I'll liquidate everything because the low end of my target would give me 200% gains. And the higher end of my target, the 1,500. And again, this is just me, I believe, being conservative. Could it be anywhere from 200 to 447% on MicroStrategy? Somewhere between that level in the next 3 to 9 months. And so I think that's a good return in my opinion. You said PayPal options are still a good buy here. I think they're a good buy here. I haven't bought any. It looks like they're down 10% on the day. But again, expect a flush between now and Friday, maybe further flush. So you might get better deals on them. If we get to BTC to 150, if we get to 150 on Bitcoin, then I could see us getting near the 860 range on MicroStrategy. Life is too good. Something similar happened when I bought Leaps on Sentinel-1. After an acquisition news, the Leaps tanked. Then after 2 to 3 months, they said they canceled the plan and the options jumped back up and became 10x. I'm just leaving it as is. That's probably what I'll do too, Life. Life is too good. I'll probably do the same thing. I mean, it's almost like dust to me. It's less than 1% of my portfolio. Who fucking cares right now? No sense in I just leave it. Monkey Copter. Thanks, Jesse. Let's assume we go up like an MSTR. Then wouldn't some exposure to MSTX be a nice kicker? It would be, but that's assuming we don't chop too, or nothing weird happens. there's so much that can happen. China's in a really weird place. I don't want a bunch of leverage where all of the marks that I have for goals change for a year or two because we went to war with China or some other shit. And then you lose all your money in MSTX and MSTU because they don't track well in their 2X funds. So I'm trying to be more conservative, which is why I'll dial out a CleanSpark. CleanSpark has some direct benefits, again, with FASB, or not FASB accounting rules, but just Bitcoin being so much higher versus the difficulty rate that should really benefit it. And again, the MicroStrategy pressure, guys, I don't know what the exact, let's see here if we can get the exact multiplier right now, but it's near historic lows. It's at a really good level. So I really like what we're seeing right now. Look at this. So this is the daily traded value. Oh, that must be broken. It's not registering today or something. But let's just get over here. See, look at this. Look at these levels. This is the NAV premium. So look at the NAV premium over historical, guys, going back to March of 2024. The NAV premium is near some of its historic lows. The only time it was lower was in like April, May, when we got down to like 1.45x. But right now we're in the 1.9s and dropping. So right now we're over here, 194, guys. So we're in a really historically low period. So I think MicroStrategy is super safe. And then I think, again, if the second order regression is what we end up doing for MicroStrategy, which I think is the lowest of the low right here, then we'll end up, and we follow this line instead of following this green one. Then by the time we get to 280, the price is almost $2,000. And if I'm wrong, and we do the linear regression, then the price of MicroStrategy could be 3,800. So even just a conservative one, I think we end up doing really well with MicroStrategy. PayPal options are up 9% now. They've already flipped. Oh, they're up 11% now. Yeah, so I guess they were a good buy. Somebody bought them. Yeah, if MicroStrategy does that, what does it do for Mara? I'll try and get some. I'll have a separate video. I don't know. If I get lucky, maybe I can do it this weekend. I'll try and do one where we talk about some targets that I have, readjusted targets for some of these different companies. But Mara, let me just jump over here. Mara's a large cap. It's 7 billion. It's not like super huge. It's actually got a better Bitcoin to share count ratio right now than what MicroStrategy has, which is cool. But I think it can go a lot higher. I think right now I'm anywhere. Again, I think 300% is probably the low for MicroStrategy or for Mara, and it could go as high. I don't think it goes up here to 200. But I think 300% is a really reasonable, like, get the fuck out. That's the .618. Maybe it goes above that too. But I'm trying to be conservative. Anything 200 to 400% gains across. I got like $3 million in Bitcoin and crypto related investments. If I'm getting 300% gains, that's an additional 9 million on what I own right now. That gets me to my low end of 15 million. That's without anything else going up. So that's me being conservative. I think I can get to that. And then again, I've got over 500,000 in chips. I've got over 2 million in Tesla. I've got 400 or 350,000 in CleanSpark options that could be a multiplier. I've got DLO if it ever comes back. I've got almost 500,000 in PayPal. There's just a lot of different things right now. I've got 47,000 in SoFi right now. I've got 150,000 in Argentina and ARGT that I'm looking to add to if we get more downside. And again, ARCG, I've got over 200,000 in calls. So I've got a lot of asymmetric bets that could get me to 30 million. But even conservatively, I think I get to 15 by the end of this year if I fuck everything up. How can Vanguard not feel like fools compared to BlackRock and Fidelity? They're just a dying company. That's what happens. Their legacy will die off, and nobody will remember Vanguard anymore, and the new guys will be the big ones. Zautan, I'm holding ETH.ape now with thousands of dollars in total. Should I sell all and buy MSTR? Let's say I have no extra cash. That's such a hard thing to say, dude. I think Ethereum could do all right. I'm not really excited about Dot or Ape, but they could do really great because they're really tiny. And I think we're heading into an altcoin market. We're just getting over this hump right now. So maybe we have one more flush and then they start going up. I don't know which one's better, dude. I think MicroStrategy is probably the more safe, consistent bet, but it might not give you the same returns. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you advice, but it's up to you. You could diversify a little bit, maybe add some MSTR into there, right? Kirby AI, I've got MSTR, my MNAV sub 2, which is very low in my opinion. BTC or MSTR here. I would say MSTR, but again, if you don't have more capital, maybe there's better prices with MSTR soon. Adam says, my PayPal options are up 10% today, up 80% so far. Congrats, dude. I'm up 274% on my PayPal options, so I'm digging that. Monkey Copter, I got it. I seriously hope there will be no war. I mean, that's one of Trump's key promises. That's what he's looking to get rid of wars, but he can't control. If China wants war, he can't stop it, right? We will have to go to war if they try and take Taiwan. We have no choice. Jason, sound makes no sense unless it's just institutions accumulating. I can look at sound. Let me look at the financials on that one. Because I don't love like companies that just have AI in there. But are the fundamentals getting better? I don't know. Let me look. So the price has just went up like a rocket ship. In October, it was $4. Now it's 22. So it's went up 10x. They lose tons of money. They've got a horrible free cash flow. This is like a pump and dump. The revenue grew. Handedly in Q3 to 13 million, but their United States revenue. But if you look over here, and so the revenue looks like a really great increase, but they just lose more money. They've got record free cash flow losses. And their estimates do show revenue continuing to climb, but they continue to show more losses. So I don't know. If you like being in a company that's diluting the shit out of you and that's went up 10x in a period of a couple of months, then this is a great idea. Personally, this is probably something I'm looking to short. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking to short this one. So I probably will add this into a short play. If there's any, this just screams, this screams opportunity. If I was going to dial into a short, it would be this one, but I've got to look and see how shitty it is. Income Sharks has a good thesis on sound. I'd recommend looking at it as his valuation. He bought at the bottom, though. Probably not a good buy now. Yeah, dude, this thing is 10x in 3 months. I don't care what his thesis is. Nobody buys this. You don't buy this shit. This is a great hedge. I wouldn't own this. I would sell it right now. And I don't care what Income Sharks has to say about it. Again, unless there's something amazing behind the scenes that's going to turn this company to profitability. I like growth. I love growth, but not at shareholder expense. Again, miners do it because they have to. Well, they're getting better. They don't have to dilute as much because they can use these convertible bonds, which I think are better vehicles for them. And I'm glad that Zach finally figured that out. Remember when Rex, my boy Ben, was arguing with me about how convertible bonds weren't needed? And then what did CleanSpark end up doing? Exactly what I fucking said they were going to do. I just want to be clear, right? They did exactly what I said they were going to do. They used the convertible bonds because they realized they were a good deal and they realized they had to and the market wanted it. So their service and subscriptions have went up a lot. They seem to be making money now off of that. And their United States revenue is strong. I don't know. They're just making money off their shareholders. I don't like this company at all. We got new data points. Let's go back here. Yeah, Income Shark's probably sold. If he's smart, he's sold. And I love him. He's actually cool shit. Existing home sales, 4.15 million. Better than forecast and better than consensus. The real estate market is still igniting, even with higher interest rates. Existing home sales month over month, 4.8%. They expected 1%. The real estate market is getting better. CB leading index, 0.3%. They expected it to be negative. It's positive. So here's the narrative. The market might sell off today because they're like, the economy is too strong. Inflation's really, really bad, guys, because Jerome Powell, he changed some dots on some plots that they're really bad at and that are going to be completely wrong. And so since inflation's so bad because China and all of Europe are seeing deflation or disinflation at the very least, obviously inflation will happen in the future. Why? Why is inflation going to happen? The only inflation we're getting in the future is from a stronger economy, and it's going to be healthy because we're making it more efficient. So this is all good data. Maybe the market sells off into it. I don't know. The market's fucking retarded. But I'm probably going to stop here, guys. I'm probably going to stop here. And I want, if we have time, can we look at Honeywell and its $20 billion quantum computing bet? Probably not. I really don't care about quantum computing. People might make some money off of quantum computing. And if you guys want to talk about that in like the chat on the Discord and come up with some really good points as to why I should give a shit about quantum computing, something that's at least 5 to 10 years off. I don't, these are all just speculative plays that will destroy you. And could you make quick money off of them? Sure. But I'm sorry. It's just, we will sooner go to Mars than have quantum computing. Yes, totally. It's just like everybody was excited about nuclear a little bit ago. It's not that it's not real. We will use nuclear power and it will grow, but the price of uranium is plummeting. And there's a reason for that. Losing $200 million a year. Yeah. Guys, quantum computing isn't real. You don't have to worry about it with your Bitcoins. Inflation isn't real. You don't have to worry about that either. Isn't that great? So now that you know the truth, just do whatever you're going to do today. I'm probably going to chill. I might buy more. I don't know. I put most of my cash in. I might do some more buying today. But here's the deal, guys. I'm just going to go back to this. I'm going to end on this note, okay? The last 2.5 years tell us this is the time to buy. The fear and greed right now. Let's look at it. Oh, that's the crypto one. We don't want that. We want the CNN. The fear and greed right now is 32. I think we could actually drop into extreme fear today if the market goes lower, or 33. But maybe we're at the bottom. I'm pretty all in, but I can always put in more, right? I can always reallocate source of funds. I can take my lower conviction I was going to say shit coins. Simmies, and I could sell that off. That's like over $500,000, and I could buy some of my higher conviction bets. And so if we really drop, that's probably the game plan. I did make some trades already. I haven't posted them yet because we've been doing this. I'll show those. I bought some ARCG. I think I even bought some Micron. Just playing around, testing the waters. I bought some Micron down about 17% on the day. Could be a bad idea, but again, it's like 1% of my portfolio. Don't really fucking care. But here's the thing I wanted to end on real quick, guys. I wanted to end on the notes of positivity. Let me get over here real quick. Where was I? I don't know. Maybe I should just go back over to here. All right. So I want to end on notes of positivity, right? I want to end on talking about all the great things that are happening right now. I want to talk about the Department of Government Efficiency keeping this bill from getting through, and any bills between now and January 20th when the president becomes elected. I want to talk about the $200 billion from SoftBank that are looking to come into the United States, because if you spend more than $1 billion in the United States, you'll be able to have, again, expedited approvals, including, all different kinds, to be able to get it to where you're bringing money into this. And then again, deregulation across all sectors. That's going to be happening too. Lower energy prices, government cuts, where we still pay them, where they don't draw the economy down, but at the same time, but the bond market knows that things are going to be sustainable, thus driving down the longer end of the curve in the 10-year. It might not happen right away, but it's going to be coming, I think, by spring. And again, lowering taxes, renewing the existing tax breaks that were getting ready to expire, lowering corporate taxes to 15% if they can do it, which I think they can. And the incentives for manufacturing to come back to the United States. We wield a ton of power right now. And you've got Elon Musk in the Department of Government Efficiency with Vivek getting ready to lay waste to government inefficiency. So I want to leave on that. I'm going to leave on that. So can we go down further today? Yes. I've said that since the beginning of this. We can go down further today. but you need to focus on all the good things that are happening. Turn off your fucking monkey brain. If it means you need to touch grass, or if it's like where I am, it's snow, I don't give a shit. As long as you don't have the flu, go out and enjoy yourself, touch some grass, step away for a minute, and all of this will be gone before you know it. Trust me, the sky is not falling right now. It's never looked better for the future of humanity and for the future of the United States, as long as we don't fuck it up with war. So I want to leave on that note. I want you guys just to remember all the beauty in this world and to focus on that, because again, we got Trump in office right now, and we're America first, and there's going to be good things happening. I love you guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't fret. It's going to be okay. Bye.
I got love for every nation. I got love for all races. I got love for all religions. Got love for so many places. No love for a politician, a congressman, or a senator. If the country that they put in first ain't the United States of America. No love for these politicians with corporate interests in other countries. Only one that I serve is God. I don't serve man, I don't serve money. No love for the people living in the USA, but always hating it. Got a lot I probably shouldn't say to yo. Matter of fact, I'll just pray on it. I'm pro-life, pro-God, pro-gun, not ashamed of it. Yo, worshiping military, killing babies, mutilating children, yelling Satanists. Supporting the troops in their tour doesn't mean that you're supporting the war. Supporting the freedoms that they fighting for doesn't mean that you're supporting the gore. Supporting the country I live in and loving it doesn't mean blindly supporting the government. The world that we live in is trouble. The turn of the media, we should defund it. Supporting America for other nations does not make me a racist. If you like communism so much, I'll pay for your vacation. America first, the people are hurt. Got vets in the street with nothing to eat and nowhere to work. Sending our dollars overseas and funding these wars. No love for these politicians if they're not America first. America first. This country's protect their borders. It's not a controversial subject. I say cause the southern border, it seems to get people upset. I don't care what names you call me. We in $40 trillion of debt. Uncle Sam takes half your money, then you get a little refund check. I am America first. Kamala cares a better purse. I never sell out the people to raise my net worth. The Second Amendment is there to always protect my first. I'm a better rapper than Meg Thee Stallion, and I don't even have to curse. Let's keep the American dream alive and put an end to all the lies. BLM raised billions, and what did they do for black lives? Politicians promise you the whole world, then they backslide. What happened to Hunter's laptop? You know I'm most strapped up. Gun rights are human rights. Feminists been sold a lie. You can mess around and find out. Play stupid games, win a stupid prize. God bless the whole USA, even the ones you hate me. Still fighting for you today, and no globalist paid me. America first, the people are hurt. Got vets in the street with nothing to eat and nowhere to work. Sending our dollars overseas and funding these wars. No love for these politicians if they're not America first.
All right, see you guys later. Love ya.